This telecast available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl celebrating its 30th anniversary here. And it is a beautiful night in San Diego. Third member of our broadcast team is Lisa Salters. She's down below, and let's check in with Lisa.
Well, Brent, the Sun Devils' leading rusher, Keegan Herring, isn't 100% tonight, but according to him, he's close to it. Herring suffered a high ankle sprain during their last regular season game against Arizona, and he didn't even really practice with the team since that injury until they got here to San Diego. Dennis Erickson told us that for the first time since the injury, Herring practiced at close to full speed on Christmas Day, and when I spoke to Herring before the game, he said, I'm at 95.7%, so that's pretty good. He's not starting, but he said, expect to see me a lot. Now, in his place in the backfield, Texas native Dimitri Nance, and don't sleep on Nance. He leads the Sun Devils in touchdowns this season with 7, and he and only one other player in Texas history have rushed for over 3,000 yards in one high school season. The other player, former University of Texas star Cedric Benson. Frank?
All right, Lisa, thank you. So, Dennis Erickson, the Pac-10's Coach of the Year. Co-champion, of course, lost the tiebreaker because they lost to the Trojans. And on the other side, Mac Brown. 10th season with the Horns, 80% winner. And, of course, up in the Rose Bowl, won that dramatic national championship with Vince Young as his quarterback. Both teams, as you see Rudy Carpenter kneeling, he'll watch the first series. Arizona State winning the toss, they have deferred, and so the Longhorns will take the football. Both teams feature excellent return men. Juan Cosby of the Horns has one kickoff return for a touchdown. Obana is back with him. They kick short to keep it away from him. And as the result, the Horns will be working with a short field with their first series of the game. Powerful return by Kendall Carrillo of 27 yards, one of the up-backs, and here comes Colt McCoy.
Well, Colt McCoy, people have looked at him and they've seen the interceptions at 18 and wondered what has happened to him. I think early in the year, quite honestly, Brent, I think he was pressing a bit, trying to make too many things happen. From about the Oklahoma game on, he's settled down, and I think this offense has found an identity running the football, and it's taken some of the pressure off of him.
Complete. Jordan Shipley and the Devils were ready, and now today's starting lineups presented by Yellow Book, and here is head coach Mac Brown.
At quarterback, you got Colt McCoy, perfect name for the Texas quarterback. Backfield, you got Jamal Charles, rapidly becoming one of the best running backs in Texas storied history. Nate Jones, senior receiver, graduated in 3.5 years, the only senior on the Texas offense. That means you got a young offensive line, very athletic, really improved since that last football game. Got their hands full tonight, but we're looking forward to watching.
McCoy keeps it. Short of the first down marker.
Colt McCoy coming off of that handoff decides to follow his running back, Jamal Charles. I think he wanted to keep that and go to the opposite side, but a good job of recognizing the defense and trying to pick up as many yards as he can. That's the thing with Colt McCoy. People don't realize he's a much better athlete than I think a lot of people think. He has great feet.
Third down and 3 for the Horns. Here's Jamal Charles, the dangerous one. 1st and 10, crosses the 35 to the 25-yard line and out of bounds. Number 25, the junior from Port Arthur.
Well, Brent, Troy Nolan, the safety, is up to add the 8th man to the line of scrimmage. They've got to be able to make this play, but look at the quickness right there. He goes right by Nolan, and it gives you an indication of how fast Jamal Charles is once he makes the move to the outside. 3rd and short. Arizona State had exactly what they wanted with the 8th man up in the box. Troy Nolan could not make the play against a quicker Charles.
A 16-yard burst by number 25 gives the Horns a 1st and 10. They slip it to him. He crosses the 20-yard line. Marquardt, the defender.
That voice you hear is Mac Brown yelling at the officials. Come on, guys, he's 2 yards out of bounds. He's fired up, wants a late hit. See that? Look at that intensity. He had to get up at 6 in the morning for practice, too, for this ball game.
He's got a game face on tonight,
oh, boy. He is ready to go tonight.
SEC crew working the game here tonight. 2nd down and 1. Flanker screen to Shipley. And it's 1st down for the Horns. Now, let's see why Mac was so upset. Watch this hit.
Clearly out of bounds. The defender goes low. He's out of bounds. Defender could have let up. Mac Brown trying to work the officials early to his advantage. But if you're a Texas Longhorn fan, the game could not have started any better. You take the ball past midfield, 2 or 3 plays, move right down close to the 10-yard line. Now we'll see if they can punch it in, get it into the end zone.
Obanaya checks in as the running back. Play fake, McCoy. Moves to the right, fires end zone, incomplete. I am not sure if Nate Jones didn't think that the solid white was part of the end zone. He was working free in the back of the end zone, and the way the blue dissolves to white here at Qualcomm, if you have not played in this stadium before, there's a possibility of it.
That's an excellent point, Brent. When you're playing in a new stadium, new circumstances, you're not quite familiar maybe with the way the setup of the field is, but I can tell you that the feet tonight of Colt McCoy will be a factor in this game against this Arizona State defense. He's buying time with his speed and finding receivers downfield, which was a big concern for Arizona State coming in. He was out of bounds and then came back in. That is not a catch and the right call on the field.
Now McCoy rolls right. Out of bounds at about the 1-yard line is Nate Jones, number 9, the senior from Texarkana.
I think it's imperative with a young offensive line. You indicated the 8th different offensive line that they've had to start this year because of various injuries up front. They lost their 2 senior captains on this offensive line. Imperative that Colt McCoy in this offense find some confidence and some rhythm early in this game. And Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, has come out, his guns blazing with different play calling, different formations, really keeping the Arizona State defense on their heels.
All right, Lokey checks in. Derek Lokey, the defensive tackle. He'll line up as the fullback. Vondrell McGee. McCoy fakes, going to throw for a touchdown. The Horns on their first drive. Derek Lokey, his first touchdown, floats out of the backfield and catches a pass. So for the last couple of years, he's been the lead blocker. And yesterday, we asked him at the luncheon if he would like to lobby to score a touchdown. Little did we know that this play was in their game plan.
Had some speed getting out there to the edge. Made it pretty easy for Colt McCoy. Caught the Arizona State defense completely off guard.
There is the senior who is an outstanding student, folks. They brag about him. He and Frank Oakham. And Ryan Bailey adds the extra point. Texas makes good use of a short field, and Lokey rumbles in for his first touchdown. We welcome you back to the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Texas scores first. Yeah, indeed, enjoying a little sunshine at beach out there with the surfers.
It's you and Scott from earlier today, your son,
out
right?
There, sure. Couple of beach bumps from way back, right? Well, you know, we talked about the return man, Kirk for Texas, but young Burgess, Rudy Burgess, has a kick return for a touchdown. Now, the Arizona State strategy of kicking away from the Texas star did not work. Let's see here what Hunter Lawrence has been instructed to do with this kickoff. Burgess is going to field it at the 17 and cut back to the middle. And he's down at the 24-yard line. Sergio Kendall was down there on the special team, and here comes Rudy Carpenter. Big arm, a lot of fire here.
Yeah, a lot of fire. He is a great emotional leader for Arizona State, Brandon. You go back and looking at his performance last year, I think he felt some pressure replacing Sam Keller and tried to do too much. This year, with a new offensive system with Rich Olson, really settled in, got his confidence going early, and had a great year for Arizona State.
And probably their best year since Jake Plummer was the quarterback. And here is Dimitri Nance, the running back. And speaking of Jake, let's have him introduce his alma mater's offense.
The emotional leader on offense, the junior quarterback, Rudy Carpenter. He's got a sweet group of wide receivers to throw to. Carpenter to McGahey, watch out. At tailback is Texas native Dimitri Nance, who'll be toting the rock with extra passion today. Center, Mike Pollock, anchors an experienced offensive line versus the Longhorns front four.
Happy holidays to Jake, who's undoubtedly watching his home up around Sandpoint, Idaho, is where he now lives. Here's Nance, who we mentioned, and this should leave them with about a third and short. We'll check that for you. You know, speaking of Jake, Kirk, a lot of people wonder what he's doing, and is he still in football? And he is not, and we've got an injured player here.
Looks like Jared Norton's down, Brent.
So he drew a start here as they redid the linebackers. Jared Norton was at Mike instead of Bobineau. Scott Derry and Roderick McElroy also earned starts in those 6 a.m. workouts that you talked about, and now he limps off. And Bobineau checks in. 3rd down and 2. Play fake Nance, and Carpenter rolling hard to the right, throws for the 1st down, puts it in the hands of the sure-handed one, Chris McGahey. That's his 53rd catch of the season, Kirk.
Well, he always seems to not only make catches for Rudy Carpenter, but they're always 1st downs. On 3rd down, he is his go-to man. I like to call a little play action going back the other way, taking it against the momentum. I think Texas was expecting a run on 3rd and short. Arizona State able to execute here on their first 3rd down of the game.
McGahey has not scored a touchdown, but on Christmas Day he proposed to Aubrey McClue, and she said yes. So what a season it's been for him as Carpenter throws one away. And let's bring in Mac Brown, and we've got a penalty flag down. Let's hang on a minute.
I think the question was going to be, was he outside the tackle to be able to throw the football? And it's not. Intentional grounding, and they will lose significant yardage here. Coming off of that play action, Brent, Texas was in his face before he could even come off of the ball fake. Texas brought the blitz. McElroy is right there. Orakpo's in there. A number of Texas defenders. It forced Rudy just to get rid of the ball, but he was not outside of the tackle box there, and it's intentional grounding.
He felt the heat that time from that defensive line. Brian Orakpo was coming after him.
Yeah, they've been ridiculed most of the year, but they've been injured. Orakpo hasn't played very much this year at 100%. Aaron Lewis is back in the lineup tonight. They're anxious to try to get pressure on Rudy Carpenter.
Nance. Now let's have Mac come in and introduce his defense.
Leading us up front, 2 defensive tackles, Derek Lokey, Frank Ocam. Great football players on the field, but even better students and people off the field. Our linebackers are led by Scott Derry, a senior that's won a lot of football games at the University of Texas. And that secondary is led by Marcus Griffin, really quiet off the field, but he will knock you out on the field. I look forward to watching these guys play.
He's character now. I look forward to watching these guys play. So do we, man. 3rd down and 18. Carpenter under pressure again. Puts it in the hands of his tight end, Brent Miller. He's the brother of Zach, who moved on to the National Football League. Beasley, the defender for the Horns.
Well, Texas gets off to the kind of start that they wanted to. Last time we saw the Horns, they lost to Texas A&M. They've had to hear about it for 34 days. They get out here, they score in their opening drive. and they force Arizona State to punt. Force Rudy Carpenter back to the drawing board.
Here's their great kicker, Thomas Weber. He won the Lou Groza, hitting 22 of 23 field goals, but he's also the punter as you look from behind, number 28, and that is a good return man, Quan Cosby, deep for the Horns. Cosby runs up, takes an Arizona State bounce. It'll roll dead right at the 10-yard line. So one of the weak points of the Sun Devil season has been the punting. Certainly not the field goal kicking, but they get a big time roll, and the Devil likes that one. But Derek Loki, a defensive tackle, has the Horns ahead by 7.
ESPN College Football, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, is brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Pontiac. Vote now for the Pontiac Game-Changing Performance of the Year at ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac.
So we see the lights of San Diego. Coronado Island twinkling there in the background. Longhorns up by 7 here as the sun sets in the Pacific. Coming up on 5:30. Colt McCoy and the Horns, they scored on their first series of the evening. And handoff, Charles spins to the 11-yard line. Interesting if you compare freshman and sophomore years for Colt.
Well, I think a lot of people have ridiculed Colt McCoy this year because of the number 18. 21 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. You could see that he hasn't had that bad a year. He threw for over 3,000 yards. And talking to Greg Davis, as I said, I think that there was so much on him this year after the great freshman year that I think he tried to live up to that hype. And then when he lost Limas Swede, it was too much to deal with.
Draw play. Going to be short of the first down to the 15, but we've got a flag. Gaethel making the stop on the quarterback, but there is a penalty. Talking about those 18 interceptions, the coaches went back and tracked them. 8 of them were tipped. And that's against the Arizona State defense. And it was interesting that Mac told us, Kirk, that in the pocket.
Offside, 58 on the defense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains second.
In the pocket, he threw only 1 interception. Yeah. A lot of it was on the move when he was rolling, trying to make things happen, trying to force the issue.
Exactly. And I like I said, I think when he lost Limas Swede, he really felt that he had to make some things happen. They just don't have Texas. When you take Limas Swede out of this lineup, the group of wide receivers are solid, but they don't have a lot of difference makers. Their difference maker is number 25, Jamal Charles, and that's what they started. That's the team that they started to become in the last 6 games. They started to run the football more with Jamal.
And there is Jamal making his way close to a first down before he was pushed back. And again, Gaethel, the defender, and we'll see exactly where this ball is spotted. This is very close.
Call third down. You know, because of Jamal Charles becoming this offense, Arizona State's come into this game. They've had a lot of time to prepare, and they're saying, we've got to stop Jamal Charles. Let's force them to make somebody else beat us. But they are locked in tonight to slow down Jamal.
Behind Chris Hall, the center. And Chris Hall is quite a Longhorn story. Folks, he's a young man who has started at guard, tackle, and tonight at center. He's done a little bit of everything. And as we told you, this is the 8th offensive line alignment that the Horns have used this season. And they lost 3 starters from a year ago to graduation. Studdard, Senline, Blaylock, and then Tony Hill's injury this season. So it has really been a struggle gaining consistency, which, as every football man knows, is so critical with an offensive line. Throws off the fake, and slipping was Nate Jones.
The big thing is when you lose Tony Hills and Dallas Griffin, your 2 offensive linemen who are seniors, and your 2 offensive captains late in the year, really puts a lot on Mac Brown and on this Texas offense, and they've made some adjustments. They feel really good about the youth up front, and they really want to try to use this game as a confidence builder to get ready for the offseason, to get ready for 2008. Only one senior playing quite a bit of football tonight for this Texas offense.
We'll see what the Sun Devil defense comes up with here on 2nd down and 9. Obanaya is the running back, and it's a reverse. Quasby, the baseball player, going to throw off the end around, incomplete, and the Sun Devils were not fooled. Let's have Jake Plummer introduce this Arizona State defense.
Watch out for durable, dominating, destructive Dexter Davis on the Devils D-line tonight. Shoring up the middle is linebacker Mike Nixon, former minor league baseball player. The secondary will have a new look tonight with Rodney Cox in for Josh Barrett at free safety. Go Devils!
So, Jake, and you know, when you look at his record as a Broncos starter, his last tenure in the NFL, Jake was 39-15. Broncos would settle for that.
Oh, they sure would. I watched him today in that 1997 Rose Bowl that you called. It was a great game.
Ohio State came back on the last drive. 3rd down. Here's Colt McCoy in the middle, dropped. Jones was well defended that time by Troy Nolan, the young man who has 6 interceptions on the season, and number 14 was right there with his coverage.
That was great coverage, and one of the things that you'll see tonight again from Colt McCoy is an ability to step in. There's such good pressure off the edge from Arizona State. He'll try to step up into the pocket and make a throw, but this time Troy Nolan is right there, gets an arm up, and knocks the ball away on 3rd down.
Justin Moore back to punt. And there was movement in that line. Brandon Smith had stepped across, and the line judge over here
Dead ball, illegal snap on the center, penalty 5 yards. Down remains 4.
And that's why he moved, no question about it. William Harvey snapping on the punts. He drew the man offside into that neutral zone.
He's moving that football. I'm surprised the furthest guy from the ball is the only one who moved.
Kyle Williams back to give Arizona State good field position. It's going to be their turn to work with a short field. From the 47-yard line, Rudy Carpenter and the Devils down by 7. But they've got a golden opportunity coming up here. The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Texas leads it by 7. We welcome you back to San Diego with Lisa Salters and Kirk Herbstreit. I'm Brett Musburger. Texas leads Arizona State, having scored on the first series, working with a short field. Now, Kirk, it's Arizona State's turn.
Rich Olson, the offensive coordinator from Arizona State, had an opportunity to go back, as I said, to the drawing board and find out how they're going to try to attack Texas. They've got to throw the football downfield against the Longhorns eventually.
Nance picks his way. Oh, 30-30, and we check in. Hold on now. We've got a fumble down on the field. So they must have just pulled the ball right away from him as he was going down.
As he was going down, Brandon Foster, who's an undersized defensive back, got up underneath him and just ripped the football out before his knee touched. We'll see if they'll review it and if, in fact, his knee was down. But Foster just fought in there.
I'm like Dennis. I want to see
what just happened. I mean, Nance is the power back. Does the knee touch? He's still up right now. Look at Foster, 28. He just rips the ball out as Nance is falling to the ground.
The ball has been given to Texas on the field. Is it indisputable? Was the knee down? Remember, instant replay, different than the NFL, of course. Being looked at up in that booth. If they need a little more time, they would signal down below, which is exactly what they've done here. So they are going over and over, and has to be indisputable for the official upstairs, the eye in the sky, to turn it over. You know, it's interesting when you think about Dennis Erickson. Instant replay, folks, exists in the National Football League because of what happens to him. I don't know how many of you remember it. He was coaching Seattle against the Jets, and Vinny Testaverde was given a touchdown when he was about 2 yards short of the end zone. Cost the Seahawks a spot in the playoffs that year. And that was one of the compelling reasons for ownership of the National Football League to turn to instant replay. And now, of course, a couple years ago, the Big Ten led the march.
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
So the Longhorns have it, and we've got our game's first turnover.
What year was that with Seattle? You know, how far back?
No, it goes back a little bit with Dennis. Was it late 80s, early 90s? You know, right about that time.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy here. It's the greatest thing that happened there is how quickly this crew called upstairs, got the call, boom, made it back downstairs, and away we go.
Childs was the quarterback, and wow, Jamal explodes. Pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Jamal Charles.
Brent, you talked to John Childs, who runs a 4-3. They inserted a quarterback, and anytime number 7 in burnt orange comes in, it's the zone read. He's reading Vasquez on the backside. Nice job of accelerating. And Jamal Charles, I'm telling you right now, is as fast as any tailback you will see in the country. And the acceleration after that initial read is what makes him so special.
48 more yards for Charles. Childs keeps it himself. Touchdown.
The Longhorns came to play.
From Dallas, John Childs, 6'2", 205, takes 2 plays after the turnover to march the Horns into the end zone. Those early morning workouts paid off, huh?
I think the Longhorns came to play tonight. They are fired up on both sides of the ball, executing flawlessly on offense, and a nice job there by Mack Brown and Greg Davis, inserting John Childs with a zone read. The first one, he hands it to the talented tailback Jamal Charles, and the second one, nice read by Childs, and he's got the speed to get into the end zone.
Ryan Bailey tacks on the extra point. Texas takes a 2-touchdown lead. Arizona State will have to loosen it up now. The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. And the cycle of life continues as the sun sets here in Southern California about 3:35 in the afternoon. Hawaii, their fans, of course, can't wait for the Sugar Bowl and that game against Georgia. And here, the freshman, so excited about his 2-play touchdown drive, John Childs. And the Horns so far are hooking.
Haven't seen a quarterback burst out of the backfield like that since old number 10 used to be back there a few years back.
Burgess and McGahey are back deep. Lawrence to kick it off. Burgess to the 30. And he is out of bounds at the 34. Well, it's about 35 at 30 as we check in with our friend Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brent, we'll keep it to 30 seconds, though, for you. That's okay. You had a little interesting thing going on in the game. Bill Parcells introduced in his new job, Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the Dolphins. He took in practice for the one-win team, but did not introduce himself to the squad by way of talking to them. And Roger Clemens, according to the New York Times, has hired private investigators to discredit Brian McNamee. Sports Center after the game. Stay current at ESPN News.
All right, Reese, thank you. We'll hear from you at halftime with the gang. Rudy Carpenter completes it out of bounds, and let's check in down below with Lisa.
Well, Brent, as you know, Rudy Carpenter, a really emotional guy, and I was talking to his center, Mike Pollock, and he said, I'm the one on the team that tries to keep Rudy calm. Sometimes he gets a little bit out of composure. He's not afraid to wear his heart out on his sleeves, but sometimes he gets a little bit close to the edge, and I'm the one who's there just to rein him back in. About the whole Sam Keller controversy, he said it was tough for him to take over what some people thought was a divided team, but I told him, look, anybody who gives you any problems on this team or anywhere else, you point them my way and I'll take care of it. And so far, Rudy says he hasn't had any problems.
Indeed, as Nance is short of the first down, Marakpo bringing you down, Kirk.
It's interesting with bowl preparation. Once you get to the site, the two teams will often get together in various events. It will be going on throughout the whole bowl season. Some teams are very professional and very guarded with how their emotions are around the other team, and other teams are not. And this week, I guess, with Rudy Carpenter, he's let the Longhorns know at every event how he feels about them, kind of taunting the Longhorns leading up to this game.
First down. Nance picks it up, and let's take a look at Carpenter's stats here.
He is such a consistent performer, and I think last year, because of what happened with the whole Sam Keller situation, he almost tried to justify him being inserted as a starter over Sam Keller, and I think he pressed. I think this year with a new coach, new situation, nobody behind him, he was able to settle in and be their leader and their guy.
And checking into the backfield, Keegan Herring for the first time, slowed by an ankle injury, and the Horns ready. So far, what we have seen from Arizona State, Kirk, has been a very conservative attack plan.
Well, their offense, as much as Dennis Erickson has a reputation for slinging it, and all the great teams that he's had throughout his career, going back to Miami and even at Oregon State with the offense that he had there, it's really about establishing the run. And for an offense this year that's allowed 51 sacks, if they can't run the football and they strictly drop back to throw, Texas will be after him every time he throws the football.
Carpenter wings this one down the field to Burgess. And pulled in on the deflection. Another turnover for Arizona State. Marcus Griffin.
They go with the play action, Brett. They actually had Eric Jackson, the safety, out of position. The ball is thrown late and high. It gives Jackson enough time to get up and deflect the ball right into the hands of Marcus Griffin.
My question to you, was it interference before the deflection?
Take another look at it. It looked like his hand got up and touched the football before he, in fact, physically made contact with the receiver. But we'll go back and take another look at it.
So 2 turnovers. McCoy and the Horns back to work. Here's Charles. He's already rushed for 68. Spins away, but still going to take a loss on this one. Let's go back one more time and see if what do you make of this?
Jackson's in hurry-up mode just to be able to get there. Ball is underthrown, and it looks like the receiver Burgess comes back, and I think Eric Jackson, trying to desperately catch up to Burgess, ran into him. Bang bang play, tough one sometimes for the officials down the field to make.
And a lot of times interference is incurred when it's underthrown.
Absolutely. Especially when you have your back turned from the quarterback. Usually you'll get called for that most often.
2nd and 13. McCoy rolls off the fake. Fires beautifully for a first down. Nate Jones.
Texas is in sync right now with Colt McCoy. You can just see the look in his eye, how much confidence that he has. And because they're able to run the football, they're able to go back. And what a nice job there of Jones getting his foot down. Look at the cushion. Look how much room he has to work against the true freshman, Omar Bolden. And the ball is thrown right to the outside. Perfect throw by Colt McCoy.
We got a penalty flag thrown here by the linesman.
Sideline warning on Texas. Their first warning of the game.
Remember early in the game when Mac was yelling at an official?
Yeah.
That's who he was yelling at.
He's going to give him a little bit more encouragement.
Now, I'm telling you.
He's got a pat on the back. The pat on the back. You're doing a heck of a job tonight.
Your crew is okay, man.
Yep. I have to tell you what a big fan I am of the SEC. You boys keep doing your job.
McGee, the running back. McCoy going incomplete. He's trying to strike deep to Jordan Shipley.
He's getting Childs back down in a position where maybe they go back to him. That worked pretty well that last time he was out there. 2 plays and into the end zone. Arizona State just has to keep their composure. They've been in this position most of the year where they get down early and have shown a lot of resiliency in their ability to get the ball back and get back and win football games.
Second down and 10. McGee picks his way, and this will be 3rd and long, and leading that aggressive charge was Travis Gotha.
As much as they enjoyed a lot of success this year, for whatever reason, look at this number. I mean, it gives you an idea that I don't know if Dennis Erickson, this is a comfortable position to be in, but this has been a trend that they've had to fight through, and they've been very proud of the fact that Dennis Erickson has brought in a swagger and a belief that, guys, he'll get in the locker room and say, we're okay. We're going to make plays, and we're going to come back and win this game. And with the success they had early, the players started to believe it.
McCoy looking to set a screen on that backside. And he's out to the 29-yard line. Marquardt. Davis. Big Davis, number 58. Dexter Davis.
Dexter Davis is undersized. He'll come from the top of your screen. Undersized, but makes up for it with tremendous quickness. We knew Arizona State would apply a lot of pressure tonight on Colt McCoy from the outside because of Vasquez on one side and Davis on the other. It's going to be very important for the defensive tackles not to allow Colt McCoy to just step up in the pocket.
Moore with Williams. Fair catch signal for it, the 24-yard line. Some barking going on. Well, aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on triple tread technology. And we thank Captain Matthew St. John for these splendid pictures here on a beautiful evening in San Diego for a football game. Of course, this community fired up about the way the Chargers are coming down the stretch.
Well,
I warned them, though, that they might have to go to New England, but they weren't listening.
Congratulations. Seeing New England is not what you want to hear.
First down and 10. Play fake. Carpenter rolls away. First down as he puts it in the hands of Michael Jones.
Yeah, everything worked off of play action by Rudy Carpenter, and that's why it's so important to get something from the Arizona State running game tonight so far in this first quarter. Only 6 yards rushing, and it's because Texas has everybody up close to the line of scrimmage. At some point, you're going to have to throw. Remember, Texas' secondary in their last 4 games struggled mightily. And you know that Rudy Carpenter is eventually looking forward to trying to attack them downfield.
Keeping it on the ground.
Get up, get up, get up.
So far in this game, the Texas Longhorns have certainly dominated. They have forced a couple of turnovers, ripping the ball away on one. Charles has rushed for 60-some yards. And the freshman Childs has danced in. And there the deflection on the pick. Right place, right time on that one. And a bit of a controversy, but Arizona State didn't squawk too loudly about the fact that interference was not called on that. So play on. Right now, second down and 10. The short drop, Carpenter fires and incomplete. Michael Jones was the intended target.
Brandon Foster giving up about 7 inches. Undersized corner, willing to take chances and willing to take some risks, and this time jumped a quick slant and was able to get in there and get in the way of Michael Jones.
There's no question. Coach Aquina's players have a different attitude here tonight. Remember, they wound up 109th in the country in yielding pass yards. The last 4 games, they were torched. And they are playing with attitude here tonight. Incomplete and out of bounds.
And those last 4 games, Brent, and they played good offenses. They allowed an average of 393 yards a game through the air with 13 touchdown passes. But they are, you're right, there's a different energy about Texas's defense right now.
There is Coach Aquino calling defensive signals for the first time in his career. Young man from Hawaii actually coached against Arizona State when he was on Coach Toomey's staff down in Tucson in Arizona before moving over to the Horns. Thomas Weber punting for the second time. Fair catch at the 29-yard line. Well, folks, help decide the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year. Vote at ESPN.com. Search Pontiac to determine which school will win the $100,000 General Scholarship Fund contribution, courtesy of Pontiac. And Kirk, in a year like this, how can you pick out one play? Which one would you vote for, lad?
Well, man, that's a tough call. The Appalachian State block. That's a good one's field goal. That's a great
start of the year.
Yeah, that started the theme that we had throughout 07. Georgia's touchdown with a celebration. The end zone's also one of the finalists. That plays up there.
Play fake again by McCoy. Looking downfield. Got it. To the 15-yard line. Cosby.
Brent, I said at the beginning of this game that Colt McCoy's feet would be a big asset tonight, not just scrambling, but to buy time to find receivers downfield. This is exactly what he's able to do here. Run away from the defensive tackle, this time English, get to the outside, and this is what you love to see from a receiver, is not give up on the play. Cosby continues to work on the backside all the way over to the side where his quarterback is. Nice job of Colt buying time and a perfect throw.
55-yard gain, and here comes Charles on the next play. Breaking tackles, end zone, touchdown. Playing with attitude. After losing to their arch rival, the Texas A&M Aggies, the Horns strap it on and start working out at 6 o'clock in the morning. They were determined not to show up flat in San Diego, and they suddenly have a 3-touchdown lead on Arizona State.
And for all the people that wondered how disappointed would Texas be on losing to A&M, not getting into the BCS, being discouraged, how are they going to show up with any attitude? They've answered the bell here in the first quarter with 21 points.
Ryan Bailey, and what we'd suggest for Dennis Erickson is call Central Michigan. Get some comeback plays. They're going to need something. I mean, what a great run this was by Charles.
Charles has speed, Brent, but he also has a lot more power than most people would think. He has the ability to run through arm tackles, and as this game starts to get a little bit out of control in favor of Texas, you wonder how the will of Arizona State's defense is. Again, this has been a trademark of Arizona State. I understand that, but I don't know how many teams they have faced that have had this kind of athletic ability outside of USC. USC, but
maybe Oregon. And they struggled against them.
Maybe Oregon. When you look top to bottom, this is a very talented Texas team.
Let's go down below to Lisa. Lisa?
Jamal Charles finished the season strong, but as you know, he struggled early on, and part of the reason is because he missed running backs coach Ken Rucker. Rucker announced to the team on the first day of camp that he had prostate cancer and needed to be away from the team for a while to have surgery. He missed several games, and in his absence, Jamal Charles really struggled. In one stretch, he had a fumble in 4 consecutive games and was even benched because of those turnovers. Then one Thursday night mid-season during a film session, the players looked up, and who walked in? Ken Rucker. And feeling good and cancer-free, and Mac Brown told me, he said everyone got up and gave Rucker a standing ovation. I looked over to Jamal, and he had tears streaming down his face, and Mac said that was when I realized how much Jamal Charles, how much Ken Rucker rather means to Jamal Charles. He was really afraid that he was going to lose him, and you can just see the two on the sideline. During one game, Nebraska, Jamal Charles rushed for 216 yards, and the two embraced on the sidelines, were crying. Rucker said, I was just so happy for the kid. I know he is struggling, and I wanted him to know how proud of him I am.
Now it's Burgess from the 5. Three burnt orange jerseys. It has been like that all night. Jamal Charles has already rushed for 80 yards here in the first half. In the first quarter, we've still got 122 remaining here.
Great stuff from Lisa there, talking about the relationship with Jamal Charles and his coach. Sometimes something that gets overlooked in college football with all the attention on head coaches and the demands and the salaries that they now have is the relationships that position coaches have with their players and the impact that they can have. Clearly, that is there between those two.
Now it's Carpenter's turn. Just beating the rush man and hitting Jones. Michael Jones picking up about 7 yards on the play. Killebrew now on the field as one of the linebackers for the Horns.
For Arizona State, I want to reiterate, their strength is running the football to take the pressure off of their pass protection of the offensive line to try to slow down a defense like Texas is. Now that you're down by 21, I wonder, do they just simply say, hey, they know we're going to throw and we're going to throw and hope that this offensive line that's allowed at 51 sacks can hold up, or do they stick with their game plan?
That's good.
Here comes Nance. First down for the Sun Devils. Now the Arizona State is searching for one of these game-changing performances. There's what Kirk talked about. Appalachian State, that blocked field goal against Michigan. Auburn beating Florida. Alabama TD in closing seconds against Arkansas. And Trinity, multiple laterals, multiple. I counted 15 on the game-winning TD versus Millsaps. On that list, that would have to be my choice.
That would be your choice.
However, I am surprised that the fourth down Stanford pass against USC is not on that list.
Well, that's a good one for you. Mine, one that I would add, would be the last play by Les Miles and the LSU Tigers against Auburn. Dick, we were in Champaign, Illinois that night watching that game. Time's running out. Throw to the end zone instead of electing to kick the field goal, and it worked out perfectly. Kept their hopes alive for an SEC title and eventually a national championship opportunity.
And what a year in college football, huh? You can make an argument for so many great moments. Norton dropped off now, and here's Nance from Carpenter. Out of bounds, but he picked up a first down, moving the chains, and this is a drive that Arizona State needs to finish in the end zone. Give themselves a lift.
Well, they need to get their confidence going. As I said, they have been in this position, not this bad against this good a team, but they have been in this position. Early in the year, they were down to Colorado, came back. Early in the year, on the road against Oregon State, down by 19, came back to win this game. And I'm sure that's what the coaches for Arizona State are talking about on their sideline.
Here comes the blitz. Carpenter complete for about 9 yards. McGahey. And you can see Carpenter, who's a tough hombre. And he is limping back toward the sideline, trying to get back to the huddle now as the quarter comes to an end. Dennis Erickson studying his play sheet. Carpenter's shaken up. We've come to the end of the first quarter. And folks, it was dominated by Burnt Orange. They lead it by 3 touchdowns. The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. We'll start the second quarter with Texas leading Arizona State 21-0. And Arizona State quarterback Rudy Carpenter shaken up at the end of the first quarter. Seems to be fine now. He was not happy with the way he was taken down by the defensive tackle. Sideline high and incomplete. Kirk let us go back and show the fans what we picked up on his replay.
Roy Miller gets pressure on him, and he's been under a lot of pressure tonight. And when Miller gets in there, he gives him a little bit of a message. And of course, the fiery leader that Carpenter is, he's not just going to take that. And he's got a few words for him, but he did come up noticeably limping back to the sideline. And his emotions, it's almost like the coaches just wait till he cools down, and then they'll go and talk to him.
But he a first down here, Kirk. Third down at 3.
A little confusion for Texas. They're going to have to call a timeout from the bench. Curtis Brown ran onto the field.
He didn't like the way you lined up there. 6, I don't know what that's all about.
And Mack Brown decided that you've got to get a timeout before there's too many men on the field.
Well, let us bring in a colleague, Bob Davie, who is down on the sideline, the former Notre Dame head coach, who, folks, has a son, Clay Davie, on the Arizona State team. He's a backup long snapper, and Bob, like I told you, he inherited his mother's athletic talent.
I'll tell you what, Brent, I'd be a lot more nervous if he was the starting deep snapper right now rather than a backup. I promise you that.
Yeah, he figures to step up. They've got a senior doing it this year, and he'll get an opportunity to do it tomorrow. Down on the sideline, Bob, what are you seeing from the Texas and the Arizona State teams here?
Well, Brent, the one thing I've seen doing college football for ESPN is the faster team always wins. And right now, there's no question that the Longhorns are the faster football team in this game.
Now that time the speed got him. A pass interference call against Ryan Palmer, Kirk, and that'll give him a first down.
Ryan Palmer giving up, again, size to Michael Jones. Actually uses Jones's shoulder to use him as leverage to get up high enough to try to knock the ball away. This will be a first down for Arizona State.
Number 13 on the defense. Penalty will be at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
He's about 5'10", and Jones is about 6'4", so he's got a huge advantage with the size, and his left hand he uses to help elevate to try to get up to knock the ball away. Clearly interference on Texas.
So Rudy Carpenter brings the Sun Devils up there at the Longhorns' 41-yard line. Straight back. Goes deep. McGahey intended target, out of bounds. Bob, tell me something. There's another penalty flag down as the quarterback. Let me get this. Personal foul.
Another mistake
by first
Texas.
down. Another mistake by Texas helping here. Bob, what about Rudy Carpenter? What are his strengths as a quarterback?
Brent, number one, he is a feisty, competitive guy. I mean, you see him right there take that late hit penalty. It's been that way all season long. As you guys, it's well documented. I mean, they're last in the country as far as giving up sacks. That's a problem right now because it looks to me Arizona State really can't run the ball. Plus, they're down 21-0. But the number one attribute Rudy Carpenter has, he is a leader. You know, kind of a gym rat kind of a guy. There's a lot of plays to be made out there in the passing game if they can protect for him.
That penalty was against Frank Oakham, and he's one of the better defensive linemen. They're trying to get that running game going. Nance with a bit of a burst this time, Kirk.
And I think it's important because of the way they struggle protecting against anybody in the Pac-10, let alone this Texas team that's fired up tonight. They've got to be able to keep the running game in and sprinkle it in enough. It's early enough in this game to be able to slow down that pass rush from Texas, because when you give up 51 sacks in 1 year, that's obviously not a strength. So running the football has helped them slow down that pressure against teams that they have faced this year. That's why if they abandon it completely, even though they're down 21, that could be a problem.
Second down and 4. They'll try to run the toss play here. Nance picks his way, barges for a first down. And Bob, as you know, there have been injuries with this running game for Arizona State. Keegan Herring is nicked up here tonight, so the burden is on Dimitri Nance to pick it up, isn't it?
And Brent, also their best running back, Ryan Terrain, a young guy that I think has a tremendous NFL future, was hurt early in the year. But you asked me something else that jumped out at me down on the field. Sometimes it's an advantage to lose your last game of the year like Texas did, because you can tell they have had great preparation. I mean, they have come out focused for this football game.
Boy, does Mike Stoops like hearing that. This Nance stopped at the 15, Kirk.
Texas that time bowing up and making a play. But Arizona State, we talked about at the beginning of this drive how important it is for them to stop the bleeding, down 21. Did a pretty nice job here. 9 plays, 65 yards. Pretty balanced, too. Running and throwing, but mainly running the football.
We mentioned Herring. He has checked in for this play on second down.
And Brent, keep in mind, Arizona State led the nation in time of possession offensively. That's why they played improved defense. So like Kirk said, this is a key drive right here.
Incomplete. Well, they've had a number of comebacks, which Kirk has referred to throughout this game, Bob, and they certainly, Kirk, have been the comeback kids.
Yeah, well, you get down by 14 to Colorado against Oregon State, Cal. You know what that does is it creates a belief and a confidence that next time you're put in that situation, you're going to come up with the answer. But at one point, you have to go out and execute. At some point in the game, talk is cheap on the sideline. They've got to go out and execute, and that's what they're hoping to do here on this drive.
Burgess slotted at the left. Michael Jones further outside. Sacked. He threw it away. That's a lateral. That ball was thrown behind him on a lateral. The Horns have picked it up. There's a penalty flag back on the 29-yard line. As he was going down, he threw a lateral. He was trying to hit Bob Davie, I think.
You know, it's crazy, coaches. It's a lateral, but as the ball bounced to the Texas sidelines, one of their ball boys or GA or one of the coaches started to pick the ball up while it was still out live.
Kirk, I'll tell you what, what's crazy is he got hit right in the back of the head. I mean, the Sun Devils just turning a guy loose right there on pass protection. I mean, they're going to get Rudy Carpenter killed.
As we said, that has been a problem for them all year.
You know, Kirk, you talk about the comebacks. I think a big part of it, just the confidence these players have in Dennis Erickson.
The passer was backward. Therefore, there is no intentional grounding. The result of the play, first down, Texas.
Absolutely, but I want to see Kirk's ball boy.
Yeah, you got to see this.
No question that was a lateral. You could see that right away.
Well, the pressure. Watch Herring on your left. Keegan Herring completely whiff on McElroy, the linebacker who blitzed. Look at the ball. There's the ball by Mac Brown. Somebody pushing him out of the way.
Oh, where is instant replay? Hey, the guy upstairs, can he call down on that?
Did he touch the ball?
Well,
I don't know if he touched the ball or not.
I didn't think there was any. Let's
see if he actually
from here.
McElroy got the pressure. I just don't know if he actually.
The referee has been brought over to the headset. We need to go back and see that one angle again. We've got to bring the person in the sideline back into the picture.
You thought I was kidding you about a ball boy.
I knew you weren't.
Look at this guy.
He touched it, but we get there a little bit late. It doesn't fall.
Wow. He took a forearm shimmy after he touched it, too. Oh, here's the angle. Oh,
you know what? Now,
I don't know. I think the ball bounced away from him. I don't know if he touched the ball or not.
I'm not so sure now. Huh?
I think the ball just took a bounce away from him.
I would still like to be the instant replay guys on this one. Huh?
Brent, whoever that was, tried to be anonymous as fast as they could. They turned and headed for the back of the bench right there. Whoever that was in that orange jacket.
By the way, his cell phone right now is getting a lot of. They're even pointing up to. They're in the stadium. They're pointing up to. Oh, here's a great angle.
Here we are.
All right, did that left hand get
field? Oh, reach down.
Oh. No, he got the left hand back.
What about the thumb? What about the thumb?
Do you think it touched the thumb?
Where's the thumb?
I don't think so.
You want me to get that football and see if there's a thumbprint on that?
Go down there and check it out.
I'm going to have to get part of Lisa Salter's paycheck if I keep working me this hard down here.
Bob, that's in keeping with the spirit of this season in college football.
Brent, you are right.
Here we go now. Did it spin?
Look at Cleve Bryant in the background.
You know what? It is not indisputable video evidence. Do we have a reverse angle on his left thumb?
Well, by the way, what's the call if he did touch?
Well, at some point there has to be a legal participation, right? I don't think you can have coaches out on that field.
No, or ball boys.
There's a lot of ways to get FaceTime on ESPN.
Bobby, what was the name of that great? Was it from Rice? Dickie Magel at the Cotton Bowl was going to score?
Exactly.
And somebody came off the bench for Alabama down there. Do I remember something like that?
Exactly, Brent. I think you're exactly right. But that was an amazing play. Keep in mind, it starts with the pass protection woes again of Arizona State.
It starts with Keegan Herring completely whiffing on it. McElroy on the blitz.
It's just one of the funniest things I've seen.
Ball boy goes down. Good technique. He's going down to make the play.
I can't believe you saw it live.
I saw it. I was like, what is he doing out here?
I saw the lateral right away as soon as he was behind him.
Hey, Brent,
but
can I get back to my point? Because I know you thought I was crazy when I said sometimes it's an advantage to lose your last game.
Yeah, I did think you were crazy.
I know. I knew I needed to come back and clean that up just for you. But, going into a bowl game, I mean, so many times with 30 days of practice, you get a different football game in the bowl that you had the last game of the regular season. I'll tell you what, this is a motivated Texas football team. I mean, even the support staff's coming out on the field.
The ruling on the field has been reversed. While the ball was loose during a backward pass, a member of the coaching staff of Texas touched the ball. By rule, this is an unsportsmanlike act. Therefore, since the ball was loose on a backward pass, we're going to go to the previous spot, which was the 14-yard line. It'll be half the distance to the goal.
Wow.
Let's see if he's still smiling on that sidelines, Brent.
No. I don't think he has a burnt orange jacket anymore. I think he already lost it.
He's headed.
Now he's hiding.
He's headed for the bus. Lisa, you got to get over there and ask the young man if he touched the ball.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
By the way, guys, that saves the game for Arizona State. At least it gives him an opportunity, because right now they're maybe looking at 28-0. But now they get another shot.
Can you imagine if this game changes momentum right now and the Sun Devils come back and win in a passionate football state like Texas? That guy will be famous
What's the
for
guy
the wrong reasons.
What's the guy at the Chicago Cubs? the guy down the left field line?
Bartman.
Steve Bartman. We got a new Steve Bartman in the state of Texas. Oh, my man.
Oh, look at him saying, oh, please, Horns. Hang on, baby. Hang on. Oh, mercy. Just when you think you've seen it all, folks. So it's a 1st and goal coming up. Mac can't believe it. The young man is not sure what to think right now.
Everybody's looking at him like, dude, oh, no. Oh, gosh.
Well, here we go.
But Bob Davie makes a great point about not just the teams that lose, but the teams that can find a reason to get motivated and upset in their preparation to get to a bowl game. And we talked about it a lot in this first half. The energy from the sideline, the energy on the field. Texas and their 6 a.m. workouts, opening up the positions, clearly got the attention of this football team. Meanwhile, Arizona State, they're allotted 15 practices. They took 10 just to try to heal their bodies and try to recover from such a grind of a season.
Now, what is, if I was Dennis, I'd just say hallelujah. Now what's going to happen here? The spot? I think that might be what they're talking about.
He said half the distance, right? And the ball at was the ball at the 14? 15.
It was a 3rd and 11 at the 15th, at the 15-yard line. We're told. Oh boy. Somewhere at Grandma is saying, I can't believe what you just did.
Get a little bit of everything during Capital One Bowl week.
You sure do, I'll tell you. What a season this has been. It began.
The ball will be placed at the 7-yard line, which is half the distance from the previous spot. It will be 1st down, Arizona State.
All right, Sun Devils, let's see what they're going to do with this opportunity.
So, Penn Wagers. That's right, that's his name, the referee. What a night he has had.
Brown is livid tonight. He is fired up.
And his team leads it by 21. And the Sun Devils with a chance to get on the board here. 12:40 still to go in the first half. I can't wait to see listen to whether Jesse Palmer, Mark May ever had anything like that happening in one of their many football games.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Only in past holiday bowls.
Outside of that, that Bears game you covered back in the day.
This is amazing, isn't it?
That caused the ball to become dead. That is an unsportsmanlike act. The play will be going back, and it'll be 4th down after the penalty. It's 4th down.
Well, you know what's going on? The boys upstairs got the book out, and they're kind of working their way through the rule book as we go here. I don't think they've ever encountered anything like this.
It was a 3rd and 11 at the 15. Statsman George Hill has told us. The ball has been moved to the 7, folks. The first down marker's on the other side of the 5. It's at the 3-yard line, so it would be a 4th and 3 as I look across at the marker. So it'll be 4th and 3. You see the yellow line there? That's where they're going to have to go on this play.
So the kid might catch a break here if they stop him here. Keep the camera on this kid, Rhea.
Big break. Let's see what Arizona State elects to do with it. They're going to throw for it. Drop it off. Touchdown! McGahee's first touchdown of the season. How about that?
How about the throw by Rudy Carpenter? The only place it could be to give McGahee a chance to make the catch. And McGahee, who's been his go-to man all year, gets his first touchdown of the year. This kid is Mr. Clutch. That gives Arizona State life. Look at the emotions. It's almost like it's the first time we've seen any life from Arizona State in this football game.
Extra point is tacked on by Thomas Weber, the Lou Groza winner, bringing fire to that far sideline, taking advantage of a huge break. So let's take you back to that sequence. The lateral with the ball rolling free and the Longhorns closing in on a recovery. Instant replay rules that the young man touched the ball. It becomes 4th down and 3 for Arizona State. Game on the line. McGahee makes a spectacular grab and scores their first touchdown, Kirk.
This catch one-handed with the right hand, pushes the defender off, makes the catch, it keeps Arizona State in this game, and there's the reaction. I mean, very easily could have been, if he doesn't touch the ball, 28-0 Texas over Arizona State. They get second life.
Let's check in quickly with Lisa.
Well, Brent, I'm being told that his name is Chris. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly his position is with the team, but you could see on the sideline folks going up to him and giving him a pat on the back. None of the players really wanted to ID him by last name, and when I asked one of the sports information folks, they said, we're not telling you anything. We don't want to embarrass him.
I think that's been taken care of. Fielded at the 5 by Cosby. Cosby looking, there's a penalty flag. There's a penalty flag as he crosses midfield. The field judge up pushing it with the referee, and usually that's an illegal block. It's thrown at the 29-yard line.
I can't get over poor Chris down there. I mean, we're making light of it, but totally inadvertent, just instinctively reached down there to touch it. But he's Steve Bartman in Texas. Right
Illegal block in the back. During the return on number 2 of the return team, penalty 10 yards, first down.
Well, so let's see what happens. This is a big series
back
here.
Against them to the 19-yard line, and now McCoy and the offense will see if they can quiet this Sun Devil rally here by responding.
Remember, it's been a very balanced attack tonight from Colt McCoy. Variety of formations, a lot of window dressing to confuse Arizona State, and a lot of success.
Oh, McCoy and Charles fumble. McCoy trying to pick it up. Finally dives on the ball. They ran into each other. A botched play.
Clearly miscommunication between Colt McCoy, who takes off to his right, and Jamal Charles is going to take the handoff in front of him, and they just run into each other. McCoy very, very fortunate that the ball bounced back up to him, and he was able to recover it. Isn't it amazing in college football? A game is going one way, it's being dominated, and one event potentially can turn the momentum of a football game. This is a huge series for both these teams.
Charles defended down at the 10-yard line. The Pacific Life game summary, and folks, up until a few minutes ago, it was dominated by Texas. 21 points, and then they gave up a touchdown. Look at the rush yardage here.
Jamal Charles off to a fast start tonight. The other thing that doesn't show up there is the 2 turnovers by Arizona State in the first quarter that helped Texas build this lead up, and all of a sudden they get second life. They score on 4th down and 3, and now you have Texas packed up deep, 3rd and long. Rudy Carpenter's dying to get back out on the field.
3rd and 19 from his own end zone, and lit up on the play. Read brilliantly that time by the defense.
You don't think emotions play a big part in college football? This Arizona State defense didn't have anything to do with what happened on the field when poor Chris touched that ball. But look at the speed and athletic ability all of a sudden of Arizona State. And there's the leader, Robert James, right where he needs to be to bring down Jamal Charles.
So Robert James, the leading tackler, and they have forced the Horns to punt from their own end zone. Here is Moore. Williams waits for it. Gonna wave it off, and they'll work with half a field. Kyle Williams. Capital One Bowl Week, featuring over 20 bowl games in 12 days on the ESPN family of networks, continues Saturday with the Valero Alamo Bowl, Penn State and Texas A&M. And that's coming up Saturday, Capital One Bowl Week, and this is the game that annually swings it into high gear. Big 12, Pac-10 was being dominated by the Big 12 until that sideline situation. And now we'll see what Rudy Carpenter and the Sun Devils offense can do. Pump fake. Complete for 5 yards to McGahey again, and he catches everything thrown in his direction. It is hard to believe that McGahey has caught 55 passes and only 1 touchdown catch, which we just saw.
And of the 55 catches, 42 have been for first downs.
Oh,
42 of his 55 catches are first downs.
And remember,
that's the go-to man.
On Christmas Day, his girlfriend Aubrey McClue said, "Yes, indeed, I will marry you." So what a week McGahey's having. That was Michael Jones out of bounds. This will be very short.
There's so much time left in this football game. I still think you're going to see Arizona State continue to attack through the air, but I think they have to continue to sprinkle in just enough run to slow down Texas's pass rush, because their big plays will come through the air against this Texas secondary eventually.
Obviously, they whistled that play dead before it went out of bounds. You can see the clock continuing to tick. 3rd down now. 3rd down. Nance won't get it this time. Reached for it, and he's going to come up short.
Nice job of low-key that time, getting penetration, fighting his way through there.
Low-key scored the game's first touchdown on a pass play, if you weren't with us. He is the blocker in the elephant backfield. They get down inside that 10-yard line, and he scored his first touchdown on a pass from Colt McCoy. So 4th down and 1. And timeout called by the Sun Devils.
Of the half.
That's their first used timeout. Let us go back to an unbelievable sequence. The blitzer's not picked up. There's a lateral. An illegal touch is called on the sideline. So instead of having the Horns recover the fumble, because remember it was a backward pass, ball is free. And it was brought down, and then on a 4th and 3, Rudy Carpenter to McGahey for their first touchdown, and the young man
is distraught, and since that happened, Texas, a 3-and-out, their worst, by far worst offensive series that they have had.
They were running into each other.
They didn't know what. They're running into each other, fumbling the ball. Arizona State all of a sudden looked like the best defense in the country.
Remember, it is Mac Brown's stepson, we are told, Chris Jesse, and now here comes your 4th down. Play fake and a throw for it. Oh, a little bit too high, and the tight end Brent Miller could not bring it down, and the ball goes over. They had him wide open, folks.
The exact matchup that Arizona State wanted, because on 4th and short, Texas brings everybody in to stop Nance. Right there, everybody's up, big window right behind the linebackers. And that time, when you see a quarterback have an open receiver like that, he just kind of pushed the ball like he aimed it, almost a shot put, and the ball sailed on him, made it for a tough catch, a catchable ball, but a tough catch for Miller.
John Childs is back on the field. The freshman quarterback for Mac Brown. He had a 2-play touchdown drive when he was in there. Remember, he quickly ran the read option, and Kirk, you alertly said that that's exactly what they would go to with number 7 on the field, and he is out there again.
Kind of Mac Brown's way of retaliating with the emotions of the game swinging back in favor of Arizona State. Maybe he feels that he can regain the advantage. Maybe Childs can provide that spark with this zone read. Look, remember, he has thrown the football. He's 1 of 9 this year throwing the ball. So more often than not, when he's back there, it's the old Vince Young offense.
And there is the read. And he picks up about 3 yards on the play. Gerald Munns is the defensive linebacker who made the stop.
As I said, I like the call here by Greg Davis. We'll see if it ends up backfiring with a turnover or if it ends up eventually leading to maybe a decent drive for Texas. But I just like the way the flow of this game has gone, how it quickly turned in favor of Arizona State. I like this change up here to get Childs back on the field.
36-yard line.
Here's Charles, and this time he is ripped down, and it will be 3rd down. Luis Vasquez making the stop for the Devils.
Let's see, 3rd down and 3. Really a long 3, really almost a 4. Do they dare throw it with Childs, who's 1 of 9 on the year, or do they keep just saying, well, let's run the football?
Devils are thinking run. They've got it. Childs won't get the 1st down. Horns are forced to punt. James making another stop for the Devils.
Craig Bray doing a good job with the scouting report. When 7 goes into the game, you load up the line of scrimmage and force him to throw the football to have any chance of executing 3 straight runs and another 3-and-out for Texas.
Moore trots back out. Williams is back deep. That return man is Daddy, the general manager of the Chicago White Sox. There's a fake. They fake the punt and pick up the 1st down. Bobineau, the middle linebacker. So Mac Brown gambles big time on that play.
You know, people who sometimes are critical about Mac Brown and sometimes has a reputation of being ultra conservative without Vince Young, take that deep in his own territory, 4th down. If Arizona State stops them, you can only imagine what the sideline on the other side does for the Sun Devils. But they pick up a 1st down, and Colt McCoy is back out on the field.
They spread the field, go 5 wide, complete to the 41-yard line, Jordan Shipley. And there's a penalty flag, you can see.
Came in late, maybe an inadvertent face mask, or no, maybe a personal foul. It's definitely going to be a face mask on the back end of this on Arizona State.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. On the defense, the player making the tackle grabbed the face mask, 15 yards. Result of the play, first down.
The junior Jeremy Payton, the safety, comes across right here on Shipley, and he makes the hit. His left hand gets caught on the face mask, but he pulls, and anytime you pull on that face mask, it's going to be the 15-yard variety. Just like that, Texas is deep in the Arizona State territory.
They're on the Devils' 27. McCoy hands off, and Charles is eaten up. 30-30, and here's Reese Davis again. Reese.
All right, Brett, they're getting a little testy there in San Diego. Bill Parcells arriving in Miami to try to straighten out the mess it is the Dolphins. Takes over as Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Watched the workout, but did not address the team. Also a little testy, the debate over the $4 million buyout between West Virginia and Rich Rodriguez. The West Virginia Board of Governors has now sued former coach, trying to collect. Sports Center after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
Second down for Texas, leading 21-7. And again, they spread the field. 5 wide across. And McCoy throws it away. It'll be third down.
The reason, Brent, you're seeing Texas go to this empty set with 5 wide receivers out is they want to try to get Arizona State's secondary and linebackers in space. I think they feel they have an advantage with especially the tight end, Jermichael Finley, and the talented receivers that they have. They feel that if they can get them one-on-one, that they can make enough plays. You slip one tackle, and you walk into the end zone.
Charles is one of the 5 split out on this third down. Under enormous pressure, breaks away on the move, short of the first down. It was interesting to watch McCoy, and there's another penalty flag down at the 20-yard line. To watch McCoy, he thought about throwing it, running to his left. And remember, there were several interceptions thrown when he was on the move this year, and he put it away. But there is a penalty flag here. And that is a first down.
Wow.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 4 on the defense. When you have the distance to go, automatic, first down.
A big turnaround when Erickson and the Sun Devils missed on their 4th down opportunity. And now the Horns have marched right back down the field. Fake punt. Tryon incurs the penalty.
And Tryon, a senior. Arizona State put Texas into 4th down. It's exactly what they needed to do to force Mack Brown to make another tough decision on what to do, but they get the first down off the penalty.
Charles alongside McCoy gets the fake. McCoy's going to run for it. Touchdown, Texas.
You've got to go back to Mack Brown on 4th down in his own territory, electing to go with the fake, picks up the first down. Next play, Colt McCoy makes a great throw, picks up 15 more yards on a personal foul face mask, and then the big penalty there by Tryon. A lot of things happen there, and all of a sudden the game switches again back in favor of the Longhorns.
Back out by 3 touchdowns. 4:43 though, time here if Arizona State can put together a drive. Bailey tacks on his 4th extra point of the night. It's wild in San Diego. Why not? It's the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. We've come to expect it, haven't we?
ESPN College Football, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, is brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Verizon Wireless. Text MVP to 3400 for ESPN MVP. Only from Verizon Wireless.
And our aerial coverage here tonight brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Triple Tread Technology. That airship up above us, the Spirit of America. great scenes around the country, haven't they, through the years from the Goodyear blimp? So Lawrence has the ball on the tee at the 30-yard line, and let's see if these Devils can jump back again. They needed a lot of help from the Texas sideline to get their only touchdown in this game. Burgess will field this one at about the 15. And out of bounds far side. The last drive.
Well, that last drive was huge, and it started with the 4th down and short. Fake field goal deep inside their own territory. Works out for Mac Brown. Leads to a couple big pass plays, a couple personal fouls on Arizona State. Colt McCoy goes into the end zone. And after, again, the way this game turned, that was a big answer there by Texas.
McGahey, Burgess, Jones, the 3 wide receivers for Rudy Carpenter. Let the air show begin. McGahey, who scored their touchdown, far side, number 13.
Rudy Carpenter, again, he has been in this position before for Arizona State. Be very important with about 4.5 minutes to go here before halftime to try to come up with some points to try to cut into this Texas lead.
Comes back with Nance trying to get the first down and can't. Killebrew makes a fine play.
Killebrew makes a great play, but it's really the entire Texas defense, especially off the edge there. You couldn't see, but Arakpo, a defensive end, held the edge well, and it allowed Killebrew to come cleanly to be able to take Nance away.
3rd down and 2. Defensive line gets down low-key, almost jumped. Got to get reset. Killebrew on the left side. And forced a timeout. 3rd and 2 coming up. Arizona State uses its 2nd timeout here in the first half. 28-7. The Longhorns lead it.
Once again, fans, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. 3rd and 10 at the SMU 41-yard line. McMahon all the way back at his own 46, throwing for the end zone. Receivers are there, defenders are there. It is in the end zone. Who has the ball? Touchdown! Touchdown!
Oh, there have been some great games through the years. The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Jim McMahon winning one. His coach Lavelle Edwards is here tonight with his wife. Of course, he participated in the opening coin toss. The longtime BYU great coach. He lost to Navy, Lavelle did, with BYU in the inaugural Pacific Life Holiday Bowl game. But through the years, this game, other than the Big Four, they certainly have produced some of the most memorable contests of all the bowls right here in San Diego.
Brent, a huge 3rd down in Texas. McElroy does a good job of fighting his way through along with Lamar Houston. Big stop that time by Texas to force Arizona State and Rudy Carpenter to the sidelines.
So Cosby back deep, standing inside the Horns 20. There's a flag. And a busy crew here tonight. It was 4th and 2. Looks like the Horns want him to punt it again. And why not? That ball is inside the 15-yard line, so you pick up another 5 yards, take another crack at it.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage on the kicking team. Penalty will be 5 yards from the previous spot. Down remains 4.
Coach Erickson not pleased with a number of mistakes here in the first half. And Loki started it all off for the Horns here tonight with a touchdown catch. Rudy Carpenter has thrown a touchdown pass for the Sun Devils, but it is 28-7. Texas at the Big 12 leading Arizona State of the Pac-10. Fair catch at the 28, and a big advantage as we go and check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Brent, coming up on the Flomax halftime report, do the Buckeyes have enough speed to run with LSU? You know, all of the Buckeyes don't have the wheels like Herb Street did. We'll also check in and tell you what to watch for on all of the Friday Bowls, and the tuna is indeed finally swimming with the fish like mammals. We'll get you up to date, see what Mark and Jesse thought about that crazy sideline play in just a little while, Brent.
All right, yeah, Kirk had the wheels, didn't he, when he was with the Buckeyes? I don't know why everybody thinks that Ohio State doesn't have any speed. Every time you look at the first round of the NFL draft, guys.
The NFL thinks they're fast, but everybody else seems to think they're slow.
And, you know, guess what? I recall that on a kickoff that Florida thought that Ted Ginn Jr. was pretty fast.
Well,
so how do you get a reputation
you know what happened?
For being slow? I mean, how does that happen?
Last year in the game that Ohio State played against Florida, Florida showed up the way Texas has shown up tonight.
Absolutely.
Incredibly motivated, and Ohio State was going through the motions thinking they could win the game by showing up, and clearly that was not the case. Florida deserved to win it, and they did. But to have a label that you're a slow team because of that one performance, what about when they played Miami? What about when they played Texas twice? What about when they played anybody? Lack of speed has never been a concern for Ohio State. By the way, I think that's caught the attention of the Ohio State players. A lot of people wondering if they can run with LSU in the SEC.
Well, they're the Tigers, of course, the only two-loss team ever in a national title game. And also, folks, remember, whoever wins it, LSU or Ohio State, they will be the first two-time winner in BCS history. If you go back in time now, starting with Tennessee, no team, not the Florida States, not anybody else, have won two championships.
Because they won the AP. USC won the AP, and then they won the BCS the next year.
But that'll end this year. One of these two fine teams will come up with their second championship. All right, here we go. 3rd and 14, 2:17.
I guess you won't delay of game on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains 3rd.
And so it looks like Wesley comes up with a big play here, and you wonder how daring Mack wants the offense to be here. Looks like Rudy Carpenter going to get one more chance here in the first half.
He will, and 2 minutes to go with a timeout, enough time for him to work in college football. The thing I want to say, Brent, the thing that stood out to me so far in what we've seen in his first half is Colt McCoy, who's been much maligned with the turnovers coming into the game, 18 interceptions, has been playing pretty well tonight, making good decisions, buying some time with his feet. But the thing that stole the show is Texas's defense. They were ridiculed their last 4 games, and tonight the energy that they have played with and the tenacity that they've been able to play with, that to me has stood out, along with our young man and the staff that made the play. That had to be a highlight for everybody.
You know, Steve Bartman, I go back to you referring to him in Wrigley Field. Everything fell apart for the Cubs. Mark Pryor was the pitcher that night, and how ironic that Mark Pryor this week signed to play right here in San Diego. 3rd down now for Colt McCoy. Incomplete, and Arizona State will get the ball back.
Not only that, it stops the clock. The incompletion stops the clock, so there'll be plenty of time here for Rudy Carpenter. Now they just have to go out and be able to make some plays against this Texas secondary. This is a Texas secondary that's, again, one of the worst this year, not only in the Big 12, but in college football. And they have stepped up tonight in pressuring Carpenter and holding up well in coverage.
The offensive line of Arizona State. And that's the big question here as we come toward the end of the first half. Can they hold off the pressure? Justin's punt fielded at the drop by Williams, and he gets on it at the 38-yard line, and so 2:05 remaining in the first half.
I keep referring to those last 4 games, and you're talking about teams like Nebraska and Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, and some offenses that can go out and execute and throw the football around. Well, last 3 games, they really went after Texas through the air and put up not only some yardage, but a lot of points. And look at tonight. Look at the difference tonight after having the 34 days to get excited, to get ready and get prepared. And in this first half, they've stepped up. Let's see, as you said, what happens here on this last drive, potentially for Arizona State in the first half.
Rush 4, giving time, comes in underneath the Burgess, and Burgess fumbles the ball out of bounds. Pass was complete. It'll be marked out of bounds. 1st and 10 for Arizona State.
Well, they brought 4, but the way they brought eventually corner from the edge, I think, almost was able to put enough pressure on Carpenter, but give him credit for settling in and making the throw. And Kelson comes in, and as soon as he comes in, he makes a hit on Burgess and almost creates a turnover. Would have been Arizona State's 3rd on the night.
First down and 10 for Carpenter and the Devils. Completes it again for about 7 yards on that play to McGahey. Boy, McGahey's got a set of the best hands that we have seen this year.
Soft hands, and also I think times people look at him and think he doesn't have great speed, but he will surprise you with his quickness and ability to be able to find seams in defenses.
Make it 2nd down and 4. And he's going to go down. Brian Orakpo.
This is the problem that Rudy Carpenter has had this year, is holding on to the ball at times too long. It's a coverage sack. Orakpo from the top of the screen eventually gets in, but the thing that surprised me there, it was another example of the quarterback Rudy Carpenter having plenty of time to either hit a checkoff or just throw the football away and avoid the sack, especially with only 1 timeout left here before half.
Yeah, that's an enormous number of sacks that have been allowed by Dennis Erickson's team, and one of their weak spots this year, protecting Rudy Carpenter.
Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator from Texas, I love his energy and what he's trying to do, taking over for Gene Chizik. He is has a reputation from his Desert Swarm days of really coming after offenses. And because of the youth in the secondary, they've had to learn through trial and error. They've made some mistakes, but he's an aggressive coach. And tonight, he has turned the heat up on Rudy Carpenter with a variety of blitz schemes and trying to confuse that offensive line of Arizona State.
3rd and 8 from the gun. Sacked again from the 36-yard line. And that was Kelson.
See, this is what happens to Arizona State when they get into obvious passing situations. They're not quick enough up front, and teams that go up against them realize that, and this is why they scheme. Dwayne Aquina told us this week, most important thing is to get them into obvious passing situations. If we can get Carpenter into 2nd and long and 3rd and long, then we can get creative on how we're going to come after him, and we've seen that on display tonight a number of times.
That's why it's so important to have some kind of a running game. Of course, in this situation, with time running down in the first half, they're just trying to climb back in this, down by 3 touchdowns. So those were obvious passing situations for Rudy and the Sun Devils. And you would think now that Mac Brown and the Texas staff would be very conservative here with 1:17 to go. They lead it 28-7. And what they want to prevent is having a 28-10 or a 28-14 at the worst. Cosby is back deep. Weber, their great field goal specialist, also their punter. Cosby on a run up at the 24-yard line. He's a terrific return man, trying to get the corner, and he is pushed out of bounds close to midfield. Well, we want to remind you that coming up on New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl game presented by City on ABC, 4:30 Eastern time, 1:30 out here in the Pacific. And Kirk, really looking forward to seeing that game.
Yeah, anytime you get to Pasadena and have a chance to see 2 teams, a lot of times from the Big Ten and the Pac-10 go head-to-head, it's always a lot of fun. And we'll find out if Illinois and Juice Williams and that zone read attack that beat Ohio State in Columbus when the Buckeyes were #1 if they had some of that magic remaining.
Well, I guess I was wrong. Not sitting on it at all.
Different mindset tonight from Mac Brown.
I would say. And now second down and 10, and Macker's looking over there and saying, what do you think, Greg?
We were kind of kidding about how Texas and Mac Brown decided, you know what, you're going to lose to Texas A&M. We're going to go to the Holiday Bowl. We're going to take advantage of this time. We're going back to boot camp. Guys are getting up at 6 in the morning to do their workouts. And Mac said I had to get up at 6 in the morning too, so he showed up a little bit of a mean spirit. Fired up.
Here's Colt. And he fumble! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Picked up on the run to the 15, just inside of a minute. So, my friend, there are times and there are times.
Coach Musburger, I was with you.
I'm telling you.
Just run the ball and kill the clock. You're up by 21.
Touchdowns.
And this is the last thing that he thought he might see right here, but Mike Nixon not only gets pressure and contains him and wraps him up, but he gets the ball out. And Texas fortunate that Davis didn't pick the ball up and run into the end zone. Vasquez eventually does. Or Marquardt picks it up.
So Nixon, former baseball player with the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, forces it. Marquette recovers, and can Rudy Carpenter make it pay off? End zone, out of the end zone. Jones, the intended target.
Pretty simple play here by Arizona State, going to their taller wide receiver against the undersized Texas defensive back. Remember, I just want to say it from up here because it's what Rich Olson is saying. We're out of timeouts. We're at 47 seconds. We cannot take a sack, throw the ball into the upper deck. Do not.
Here changes the world.
The 30th anniversary of the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl as we welcome you back to what has been a wild first half, 28-10. I guess we should have known, Kirk, that when a defensive tackle catches a pass for the game's first touchdown, we were in for something. Right?
Yeah, we're going to be a share under 4 hours tonight, which is what we.
When it goes to overtime, we'll go 5.
5 hours. It's what you expect, like you said at the break there, when anytime the Holiday Bowl comes up. But it's going to be interesting. Arizona State, they get the field goal. All of a sudden, 28-10. Remember, they've been in this position quite often. Everybody's been mesmerized by how do you make the adjustments and do so well in the second half? We'll see if they have it in them one more time.
On the ground. Picked up at the 17-yard line is Cosby. He fights his way to the 33, and now just 30 seconds remaining here. You think Mac is going to fire down?
Yeah. Well, you went over to the Texas coaching booth over there during the break and let them know, boys, take a knee.
I don't mind you handing it off and, running a regular sequence in there, but try not to give them an opportunity.
How about Marquardt, the defensive tackle?
He could have had a touch.
Very easily. He could have walked into the end zone. Texas defense actually stepped up there and forced the field goal.
Well, Jamal Charles celebrating a birthday. And he'd like to celebrate it in style. Here he comes again. Picking up about 6 more yards. He's had about 86 yards, I think. Robert James making another stop. And that's exactly what he's sitting on. Averaging 9.6 yards a carry. He's scored one of the 4 Texas touchdowns. And the Horns will use their last time out here with 20 seconds.
It's a pretty good ball game when you're averaging over 9 yards a carry. In his last 4 games, he averaged over 8 yards a carry. And what happened to Texas this year is I think the youth up front of their offensive line, the Lima Swede injury, I think really affected who they were as an offense. And I think after Oklahoma, they just went back and said, we're going to run the football with Jamal Charles.
They lost a lot of coaching experience on the defensive side.
Oh, yeah.
Gene Chizik went to Iowa State. and they never quite got the secondary together. A couple of those fellows are playing Sunday football. They were drafted in the first round.
Right.
You lose that kind of talent, it has an impact on that secondary.
They've lost 16 players in the last 2 years combined to the NFL.
Second down now and 4, and McCoy gonna wing it. It was caught, and let's see, it was juggled. He's gonna give him the first down. And that was Chris Obadiah who came out. Robert James been very active here in the first half, and of course Coach Erickson said he's had a fine year as his linebacker, but his best linebacker from beginning to end.
Brown still has him in the hurry up here. We're under 5 seconds. They're still.
They're gonna wing it. Now he's gonna fake and run for the first down. He invited that lick there late. That was kind of, said, come on, Justin, see if you can hit me. So try and oblige, and that'll bring the first half to an end. And a half that featured a little bit of everything. And let's go down to Lisa with Mac Brown.
Well, Mac, the Sun Devils only got 3, but a lot of people thought you were going to run the clock out. What happened on that play when Colt fumbled the ball? What were you guys trying to accomplish?
Well, Lisa, everybody that knows anything about Arizona State knows they have come from behind every football game to win. Dennis Erickson's a great coach, and we're going to be aggressive throughout the game. We were right here. We shouldn't have fumbled the ball, but we're going to be aggressive starting with the second half.
Now, the play of the half, what in the world happened on that illegal touching play?
Well, I didn't think we touched it, but, you know, I'm not the official. I was standing right there watching it. The ball nearly went out of bounds. One of our staff members nearly kept it from hitting him, so he started to touch it. The ball bounced back in. Derek Lokey pitched it back out. I thought that was a pretty big penalty for us, but I'm glad defense came back and started playing well again. Our offense scored again.
Now, rumor has it that it was your stepson who touched the ball. He looked like he was going to crawl under a rock when Arizona State scored. What did you say to him?
Well, I'm not sure who it was, but I don't think anybody touched the ball, so that's good.
Okay.
Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, I'll tell you what Coach is going to say. Chris, I still love you, but don't you ever, ever do that again. Let's send it to Bristol now. Reese Davis with the Flomax halftime report. Reese.
Brett, let me tell you what that was. That was the ultimate, I got your back. You want somebody to have your back. Mac had Chris Jesse's back there. Jesse Palmer, Mark May alongside. All right, guys. You know, it's changed a little bit here because Texas was able to re-grab the momentum 28-10 instead of it being a Bartman-like moment. It's more, I don't know, Steve Psycho Lyons dropping his pants absent-mindedly in front of everybody and pulling him back up. But I can say this now, you know, you feel bad for Chris Jesse, but he might have just retired your Mayday Bonehead Award if, in fact, he did touch the ball.
Well, he could get the Bonehead of the Millennium right now. And if you look at this situation, you must be sound in sideline etiquette. That means you must know exactly what you're doing on the sidelines. Listen for the whistles. First and foremost, you have to have a get-back coach on the sidelines. He stands out there saying, you coaches right there on the field, get back, get back. Where's the get-back coach? Because all those coaches right there on the field, they're all guilty. The only problem about Chris Jesse, he got caught. If he doesn't touch the ball, he's not in trouble. And right now, I can guarantee you one thing, he will not be on the sidelines when Texas plays Oklahoma next year.
There's going to be nobody near the sidelines next year. I'll tell you, my heart goes out to Chris Jesse on this. He looked like he wanted to crawl under a rock. We were watching him on the sidelines the whole time. Yeah. I'll tell you something, too. In football, there are coaches, there are players always near the line of scrimmage, always near the sidelines, especially when the game's going on. You got guys jumping back and forth across, and Mark brought it up. The strength coach is always designated the get-back coach, and I guarantee through the rest of the bowl season this year, you will not see one team 5 yards from the sideline. Those get-back coaches, those strength coaches, they're going to be earning their paychecks big time now as we go on through.
It'll be called the Chris Jesse rule. You get back. Stay on the sideline.
When you have, usually, I don't know, once every couple of games, you'll have the official come out and throw the flag and say it's a sideline warning. We're done with that. Not going to see that anymore. Now, Mac Brown obviously had Jesse's back verbally. He also had his back really by play call. They lost the momentum. Texas threatening to go 3 and out for 2 consecutive times, and they were in the top 10 in the country in offense on fewest 3 and outs all year, and then all of a sudden they come up, Jesse, with the fake punt.
Yeah, the play call of the game so far, Mac Brown on the 4th and 1 fake punt. Texas had lost all momentum after that play. Arizona State had all the momentum behind them. 2 series later, it's 4th and 1. Mac Brown goes for the fake punt, allows the drive to stay alive. Colt McCoy drives him down the field. They're able to capitalize with a touchdown, go up 28-7 at that point. Huge, huge play call in the game at that point.
And how about the physicality of Texas in this game? The offensive line right up front just hitting Arizona State State right in the mouth. They're rushing the ball very successfully. They have 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half. They've rushed for over 100 yards, but Jamal Charles, I think, is carrying the load for this football team, over 85 yards rushing.
Well, we told you leading into the game, you never know what you're going to see, but you always will find a memorable moment in the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, even with a big Texas lead. We've had that in the first half. Get back! Get back! Still to come on the Flomax Halftime Report. Ohio State has a need for speed, but do they really have plenty?
This Halftime Report brought to you by Flomax.
The contentious nature of whether Rich Rodriguez will have to pay West Virginia a $4 million buyout reached another level as the West Virginia University Board of Governors has sued the former Mountaineer coach and now Michigan head coach, or at least soon to be Michigan coach, for that $4 million contract buyout that was attached to his deal that he signed last year. Rodriguez's new arch rival, Ohio State, plays for the national championship against LSU on January 7th. Let's see, there's Ted Gannon, Terry Glenn, and Joey Galloway, and Santonio Holmes, and Antoine Winfield, Ashton Yabodi, and now there's James Laurinaitis, Marcus Freeman, Brian Hartline. All those guys going to run pretty well against the clock at the combines, or did do so when they had their opportunities. So what's the deal with the Buckeyes being perceived as being plagued with the thick ankles of sluggish runners, of being the equivalent in football of the three-toed sloth? Perhaps it is a misnomer altogether. Here's Tom Rinaldi.
It's one critique Ohio State has not been able to outrun. The notion that the Buckeyes are, well, slow, especially when compared with teams in the SEC, which might as well stand for speed earns championships, at least in terms of perception. It's an idea the Buckeyes reject, but also must disprove.
I think everybody thinks we're slow, but I think you have to have great speed, and I think we definitely have that. We have guys in the back end that are fast. We have our skilled guys that are fast, and I mean, I tell you, our D-line is quick too.
You know, I think sometimes the Big Ten has been looked upon as, being 3 yards in a cloud of dust like Woody and Bo and all that stuff. But for people that really know and study the game, let's take the NFL, I think they look at our guys pretty favorably.
Athletes are athletes. It doesn't matter if you're from Appalachian State or if you're from Michigan or Ohio State or Florida, it doesn't matter. If you can play college football, you've got to be able to run. As far as overall football speed that you need to play football, I think Big Ten and SEC there isn't too far off.
The cliche goes speed kills, but the other cliche says numbers don't lie. And the numbers for Ohio State against SEC teams in bowl games are brutally honest. 0-8 in the program's history. That's a trend that Ohio State hopes will be gone in a blur if they're able to beat LSU. With the Buckeyes in Columbus, Tom Rinaldi, ESPN.
Sometimes the issue is not necessarily speed at the skill positions. It's the speed of the interior linemen and linebackers. But let's say, for instance, Jesse, if LSU does believe it has a speed advantage over Ohio State, how do you exploit a speed advantage?
Well, the first thing you can do is spread out the defense offensively. Let your playmakers play in space. Allow your playmakers to possess the football with fewer players around them. When you spread a defense out, you can then run the football against 5- and 6-man boxes, and it's what makes it so difficult to defend against spread offenses with a lot of fast players on it. There's mismatch issues. If you're not stout enough up front in your front four, you're susceptible to being run on all day. But if you don't have the speed on the back end of defense, you're susceptible to big plays in the passing game. That's the issue that the spread offense gives defenses today. And there's a saying in football, speed kills. The spread offense has shown us this year that that is true.
That's true, and it's also the great equalizer. You saw Appalachian State, what they were able to do to Michigan, but if you break this game down, I think Ohio State may have problems on their offensive line if they can stay up with the defensive front and the quickness that LSU possesses in the defensive front. That was evident last year in the championship game against Florida. Their defenders, they were in the backfield the entire game. But the great equalizer for Ohio State, go back to Trestle ball. Run the ball with Beanie Wells. Your offensive line averages 6'6", 315 pounds. Shorten the game. Don't allow LSU to have many offensive possessions. That's how you can nullify this spread offense.
Okay, Mark, do you buy it? Does LSU, Trendon Holiday excluded, does LSU have a big overall speed advantage in Ohio State?
I think they do, particularly in the trenches. I think when you look at the speed that LSU possesses on their defensive side of the ball, that means the offensive line has to practice against that speed every single day so they get better in their pass sets, in their drops, protecting the quarterback. If you look at the other side, if you don't have that speed that you're practicing against, you are going to be shocked when you face it. It's like the difference of going from college ball to the NFL.
The SEC has certainly exploited the speed they did in the national championship game a year ago. We'll see if the Buckeyes handle it a little bit better on January 7th in the Louisiana Superdome for the BCS title. Still to come on the Flomax halftime report. So who does have next? Could it be Boston College stretching it to 8 straight bowl wins? What about the Beavers? Capital One Bowl Week rolls on. Penn State and Texas A&M Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the Valero Alamo Bowl. You can see it on ESPN and ESPN HD. That's what to watch for on Saturday night. What to watch for on Friday. We got the Texas Bowl, Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. TCU and Houston, the Horned Frogs, a bit of a disappointment in the Mountain West. Houston, of course, losing Art Briles to Baylor. Chris Thurman will be their head coach before Kevin Sumlin takes over for good next season. Thurman, the interim boss of the high-powered Cougar offensive attack. Also what to watch for, the Champ Sports Bowl, Boston College against Michigan State. That's Friday, 5 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN. BC tied with Utah, the longest run of consecutive bowl wins, 7 in a row. BC can go up and win its 8th straight. Holly Rowe ready for the festivities in Orlando.
Here in Orlando this week, it is the wide world of sports. The Champ Sports Bowl kicks off Friday. For Michigan State, they must overcome the loss of 5 players due to suspension. Most important, their starting defensive end they call the sack master, Jonas St-Dick. He'll be replaced by Brandon Long, also a pass rush specialist. For Boston College, they're coming off the disappointment of the loss in the ACC championship game. But quarterback Matt Ryan told me the guys have not carried that disappointment over to bowl preparation. He said, "We've been sharp at practice and in meetings, guys came ready to work." He said sometimes the best motivation after a loss is just getting back on the field. We'll see which team has the most motivation, who will have the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat Friday.
Everybody's had that agony of defeat against Boston College in bowl games in recent years. They've ripped off 7 in a row. And, of course, Florida State once won 11 in a row from 85 to 95. And BC would stretch their run to 8 if they could win the game against Michigan State. So who's going to be the X factor in the Champ Sports Bowl?
Well, I think this X factor is Michigan State's ability to run the football against the best run defense in all of college football. Michigan State comes into the game averaging 200 yards on the ground behind Jehu Kalkrick and Javon Ringer, but Boston College is only giving up 68 yards a game, so something has to give. If Boston College can make Michigan State one-dimensional on offense, this could be a long day for Michigan State because Matty Ice on the other side of the field in his showcase game, his last game before going to the pros, is going to have a big one.
And, you know, it's not as if BC stopped bad backs. They've shut down Tashard Choice. They shut down James Davis, did a good job against Brandon Orr, who was playing much better toward the end of the season for Virginia Tech. Also coming up on Friday, the Emerald Bowl. Maryland and Oregon State, 8:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Maryland, the Fridge has figured out that bowl formula. He's won 3 straight, counts of 95 to 17, but Mike Riley's also been very good in bowl games, 3-0 as the head coach at Oregon State. And maybe Mike Riley has better news than anybody else in the bowl season right now, at least from terms of a guy coming back from injury.
And that would be their running back, Evanson Bernard. He's been spectacular this season. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards in just 10 games. He was injured in November with a knee injury, but he's back now. He's going to play in this game. And the reason why he's the X factor, not only because of his running ability, because the Oregon State quarterbacks combined have thrown for 10 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. That's why Mike Riley wants to make sure he has his feature back in this ballgame as healthy as he can be.
Run it, run it, run it, run it, run it. Maryland's played very well in the latter stages of the season. Oregon State also closed pretty strong as well. You can see the Emerald Bowl at 8:30 Eastern Time on Friday night. Still to come on the Flomax halftime report. We'll push forward and check out what's going on with Bill Parcells. The first half has belonged pretty much to Texas and to the theater of the weird. Jamal Charles going in, 9 carries, 86 yards. Horns up by 18 at the break.
This halftime report brought to you by Flomax.
This is a classic Rose Bowl moment. 1998, Michigan versus Washington State. A father's proudest moment was caught on camera as game commentator Bob Greasy witnessed his son Brian's 3-touchdown performance.
the MVP in today's ball game. I'm standing alongside his proud daddy.
Undefeated Michigan earned a split national championship with Nebraska. Watch the 2008 Rose Bowl game, presented by Citi on ABC.
Giants, Jets, Patriots, Cowboys, now the Dolphins. Bill Parcells has hit all of the NFL heavyweights. He's the new executive VP of football operations in Miami, trying to get that troubled franchise on the right track. They have just one win. He had this to say today.
I would just say that I'm very, very pleased to be here in Miami with an organization that has the history that the Dolphins have, and to be working for a guy like Wayne Huizenga. I have no ambition to coach, and I have no ambition to be a general manager.
Some of the Dolphins players saying that there were whispers that went around when Parcells showed up at the workout on Thursday, but he did not address the team. You see some of the other news in Ocean Boylan, promoted to interim head coach of the Bulls after they fired Scott Skiles. Yankees have a deal with Troy Hawkins, and Darren Erstad's reached a one-year agreement on a contract with the Houston Astros. Darren Erstad now making a new start with Houston. All right, guys, got a second half to go in the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl coming up in just a little bit. It certainly won't get any more odd than what we saw in the first half with the play. If you missed it, you're going to see it 1,000 times on all of the highlight shows. Chris Jesse allegedly touching the ball on the sideline. Wonder what we have in store for the second half. Let's go back for a little halftime festivities with Brent Musburger.
Indeed, Reese. That is the question as we welcome you back to San Diego, folks. Halftime extravaganza unfolding. Let's join the festivities on the field. Texas leads it, and we'll be back with the second half after this.
Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Play physical, play fast, play hard.
We welcome you back to the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl here in San Diego. 28-10, Texas with a big lead. Kirk Herbstreit, and you know, a couple of questions come to mind here about this game. A long halftime like they have in bowl games. But remember what Mac Brown said to Lisa? The comeback kids at Arizona State, you know, clearly they're concerned about this.
Yeah, they should be, because Arizona State's done a great job this year with Dennis Erickson, and not just getting the 10 wins, but how they have done it. They've been in this position before. They've made outstanding adjustments throughout the year, and they believe they can find a way to win these kind of games. So they're not out of this game, but the fact that they had 6 yards rushing in the first half has a lot to do with why they are where they are right now. They've never faced a team outside of USC that's as good as this team. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but this will be an uphill battle for them. But they need some confidence early in this half.
And Arizona State will have the opening series here of the second half.
Here's Burgess from the 7-yard line for the Devils. 30. Now out to the 33-yard line. And Kirk, take a look at the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, it started in the first drive. Derek Lokey, the big defensive tackle, came in, and the fullback, you kind of kidded him yesterday at the luncheon. You ever going to get a chance to make a play? Maybe you talked Mac Brown into calling it. First touchdown of the Holiday Bowl from this year. Jamal Charles, big first half, and 21 points. Looked like we were on our way to a blowout. And then the bizarre, in a bizarre season, a lateral on a sack. Staff member touches the football, gives Arizona State the ball back, and on 4th and 3, McGahey a one-handed catch, and it was 21-7. They had some momentum, and now we're at 28-10 at the half.
On first down, Carpenter gets time, but overthrows McGahey. And I saw something right here on this first play that I was wondering if Erickson was going to do. They've had an enormous problem picking up blitzing linebackers here in this game. And he immediately showed a little H-back look with a tight end. And remember, Terrain, their best running back, was their best blocking back. And the backs, Kirk, haven't been able to pick up the blitz here so far, but a tight end could help.
Well, 40 snaps in the first half and 26 blitzes in the first half from Texas. They're pinning their ears back and coming after Rudy Carpenter.
No question, Thompson as an H-back leads the way this time. Nance has stopped. It's going to be 3rd and long, and Chris Jesse, Mac Brown's stepson, was the young man, and he feels worse than anybody. And
that's good.
Mac over there assuring him that everybody is crowded around the young man. No one feels as badly as he does. And again, like Mac said to Lisa, not sure that you can tell. I'm not sure it's indisputable that he touched that ball, folks. I would have loved to have seen a picture. Of course, there was no reason for a camera to be at the other end. But I'd love to see exactly how that hand interacted with the ball. Regardless, 3rd down now. And here is Carpenter. And McGahey with a set of hands yanks it down. Man, what a receiver this youngster is.
This is the kind of play that gave Arizona State fits in the first half. 3rd down and long. You know they're going to throw the football. Griffin gets over there late, and what a catch with the fingertips by McGahey, and to get the foot down to stay in bounds for the first down. A nice throw and a great job of McGahey coming up with that. Another crucial catch on 3rd down for this kid, number 13.
8 catches for 68 yards, and it's 1st down and 10 now for Carpenter and the Devils. Nance, and the draw play is eaten up by that defensive front. Did not have a chance. You know, there were a number of miscues by the Sun Devils here. You can see a list of them.
Well, you go down the line here. It's amazing they only had a couple turnovers when you think about some of the mistakes they made. They self-destructed when they had opportunities. They kept some of the Texas drives alive with some poor penalties. And they are now trying to come up with an answer here to start this second half. Again, a team that believes they can find a way to win games like this in the second half.
Carpenter off a play fake, throws, diving catch at the 1st down again. And that was Miller, the tight end, who let one slip over his hands. That could have helped a lot late in the first half.
Sometimes people see play action pass on 2nd long when you can't run the ball, and you wonder why are they even doing that. It's more about the protection than anything, to try to give Carpenter enough time to throw. You know, the big guy, Brent Miller, this time, they weren't able to hit him on 4th and short that time. He comes up with a big catch for Arizona State in one-on-one coverage against Griffin.
Nate Kimbrough, one of the wideouts for Carpenter. Deep drop, sets the screen out. Here comes Nance. Nance picks up about 9 yards on that screen play. We check in down below with Lisa.
Well, Brent, Dennis Erickson told me coming back out onto the field exactly what you guys were talking about. He said, I told my guys in the locker room that we have done this before, we can do it again. And that locker room certainly did not sound down. They were really loud in there, very fired up. Dennis Erickson told me, he said, we had our opportunities, way too many turnovers, and normally we do not turn the ball over. He said, number one, we got to get back to our game plan. We're not the kind of team that passes the ball on every down like we started to do. If we get back to our game plan, we'll be fine. Brent.
All right, Lisa, and Herring has checked back in now as a running back. There he is with the call for the 1st down.
What you're seeing from Texas, and we'll see if they get forced to slow down their pressure, is they have absolutely no regard for Arizona State's ability to run the football. So they're putting everybody up, blitzing Rudy Carpenter on almost every down, and they're willing to take their chances against the run and against the perimeter of receivers, thinking that they will get to Rudy Carpenter before he can make them pay for that. One way to slow that down is you hit big pass plays to slow down that pressure, which they've not been able to do much of tonight.
Nance returns, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage, and nothing doing as that offensive line could not open a hole.
The reason that I think you're seeing Dwayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator, not have a lot of respect for Arizona State's ability to run the football is because the defensive line is just dominating the line of scrimmage. It's not just the blitz package. It's these defensive linemen of Loki, Oakham, Miller, Lamar Houston, Aaron Lewis, Arakpo. This defensive line has owned Arizona State in this football game.
Second down and 10. Carpenter straight back, got one-on-one. McGahee out of bounds, incomplete. Dropped it as he was going out. Boy, anytime it's in the direction of number 13, you give him a chance. That's how good those hands are.
Anytime a receiver has to turn his body completely around, your equilibrium is off just a bit, and it takes a second to be able to have your ability to look up, get your vision right, and make the catch. You're not going to see McGahee get twisted around like that very often.
He probably should have hung on to that. If you would have asked number 13, he'd say he should have caught that ball.
If his hands touch it, he'd tell you he should catch every ball.
Third down and 10 now for Carpenter and the Devils.
And they hold up in pressure.
Here come the Horns. Far side, and he misfired Michael Jones. So it is fourth down. Thomas Weber is going to attempt a long field goal. Remember now, 53 is his long. After the one he hit in the first half, he's 23 of 24. This will be a 46-yarder for the Lou Groza Award winner. Long enough, curling off the upright and good. The ricochet three. Watch this one as it strikes the right upright.
When you win Lou Groza, you get that kind of bounce.
Just like the toe.
That's right.
This game being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. We welcome you back to the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. San Diego with Texas leading Arizona State 28-13 is our score. So now it'll be the Horns' turn here in the second half. Their first possession. They scored on their first possession of the game. There's Cosby. Out of bounds around the 25-yard line. So Jamal Charles in the Texas running game, 115 yards, most of them by this young man.
Yeah, he's had a couple receptions, so he's got 11 touches on the night. I said at the beginning of the broadcast tonight, I think 25 touches minimum for Jamal Charles, the Texas Longhorns' #1 playmaker. And with Lima Swede down, he's kind of carried the load in the second half of this season. And he has been the story for the most part tonight. Colt McCoy playing a very heady, steady game tonight for the Horns as well. Till that.
Wow. Down and shaken up at the 17-yard line. Vasquez on top of him.
Well, if you want to do something to give Arizona State even more reason to believe that the magic will prevail tonight for them in the second half, fumble the opening snap for your first offensive play in the second half, and then just get drilled into the ground by, of course, the linebacker and leader of the Sun Devil defense, Robert James. Texas better get their mojo going, get their that energy that we saw in the first half, because it's not there right now.
I hope that's not Colt coughing. Second down and 15. Slips one off to the side, and that was Blaine Irby, the freshman from California, touching the ball for the first time here tonight, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and long from McCoy and the Horns.
It's exactly the opposite of how we saw Mac Brown's offense open the game in their opening drive when they started across midfield, and about 4 or 5 plays later they're into the end zone. Now they're back in their own territory to start the second half and have to try to execute here on 3rd and long.
Arizona State coming this time, sacked at the 8-yard line, and you can see the confidence starting to grow on that far sideline. Vasquez. They're going to wind up with excellent field position here.
Brent, Vasquez gets the sack, but Mike Nixon comes right through the middle to force him to the outside and allowed Vasquez to keep contained and make the play. Nobody picks up Nixon. He goes to the outside, and look at the quickness by Vasquez that time to come up with the sack.
From behind more. Here's Williams from the 41. Crosses the 40-yard line. So Nixon coming right up the middle. A one-time catcher in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. Forces the turnover, and Vasquez cleans up.
ESPN College Football, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, is brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Olivia, award-winning high-definition television.
And here in San Diego, a first down now for Arizona State at the Texas 40-yard line, trailing it 28-13. Carpenter on first down, going to go deep to McGahee, and deflected to Texas. The second deflection interception of the night to Marcus Griffin. That's the second time he has picked off a deflection.
But Brent, Griffin gets credit with the interception, but he better give Brandon Foster, the corner, a lot of love. Brandon Foster is going up against the best receiver in McGahee from Arizona State. Watch him get a hand up right there. The left hand got up to knock the ball up in the air. He was stride for stride with McGahee, knocks the ball away, and Griffin is there with a timely interception. But a great play by the senior Brandon Foster.
It looked like McGahee got his right hand on it also, which helped keep it in the air, and great reaction made by Griffin. And now it's McCoy and the Horns again, and here comes Charles, eaten up at the line of scrimmage. Be second down and 10. There are so many great numbers that you can look at as far as number 25 is concerned, but none better than the fourth quarter that Jamal Charles had against Nebraska, folks. 216 yards in one quarter. Unbelievable.
Then he followed it up the next week at Oklahoma State when they were down by 3 scores, 125 yards in the fourth quarter. Both those games, he pretty much put the team on his back and said, follow me. We're not losing either one of these games.
Second down and 9. He's coming again. The ball seemed come loose a little bit as he was coming through the line that time. Arizona State with an early signal there. Vasquez was again involved in the action. They save it, but that ball was definitely coming out as he was slipping into the middle of that line. You could tell by the reaction.
Vasquez on the tackle put his face mask right on the football as he made the tackle. He fights off the big tight end. Finley turns back into the play. gets his headgear and the ball comes out. Charles, two hands, brace himself on the ground, so he's definitely not holding the football.
Here's 3rd and 7. Vasquez playing very well, gets down, base 4-3. And a whistle prior to the snap.
Delay.
Prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal. Down remains 3rd.
Those are the kind of miscues that you just cannot afford to have from Colt McCoy after 2 seasons under his belt, especially at this point in the game where Arizona State's just looking for another break, another turnover, another opportunity with a short field to get right back in this football game.
McCoy from his end zone fires far sideline, grabbed, and out of bounds. Nate Jones, he picks it up.
Okay.
What a great grab by Nate as he was going out of bounds for 18 yards.
McCoy this time in rhythm, puts the ball to the sideline and lets his receiver do the rest. Jones goes up to make the catch, but the timing is perfect between Colt McCoy, a long throw to the sideline. He's able to go up and make the play. They're on a crucial 3rd down.
They're 4 of 11, the Horns are, on 3rd downs, but that could be the biggest one of the evening so far. Here's Charles looking for daylight. Battles his way to the 29-yard line.
Jamal Charles is one of these backs where, you know, he'll go for 3 and he'll go for 4, and then all of a sudden he'll pop one for 80. He's become that kind of back, and we just showed his numbers. I think the difference in what we're seeing from Jamal Charles today from where he was early in the year, he was like a lot of young backs early this year where he bounced everything to the outside. He always looked for the home run ball. Second half of the season, he's been going more north and south.
That time went in the opposite direction. You know, there's quite a story involving the Texas team, and let's go down to Lisa for that.
Well, Brent, it involves Matt Nader. He's a student assistant coach. He was a stud offensive lineman at Austin Westlake High School in Texas, and by the beginning of his senior season, he'd already been offered and accepted a scholarship to play for Mac Brown. But last September, earlier in his senior season, Nader collapsed on the sidelines during a game. His heart actually stopped beating. His parents, who are doctors, rushed out of the stands. They're here tonight. His mother did mouth-to-mouth. His father did chest compressions. A teammate's parent, a cardiologist, came down from the stands and used the team's heart defibrillator.
Picks up a 1st down. Go ahead, Lisa.
And that's how they got Matt's heart back into rhythm. Now, Nader's career was essentially over, but Mac Brown honored the scholarship anyway, told the kid, we want you to come to Texas and be a student assistant. Now, Nader had to have a device inserted in his chest just in case his heart stopped again, and it did. He was feeling good, thought he could try to make a comeback, but one day while he was out with the team doing some conditioning work, his heart stopped again, and that device in his chest shocked his heart and got him back into rhythm. Now, since then, Nader has given testimony to the Texas legislature that helped get a bill passed that now requires all schools in Texas, from elementary to high school, to have heart defibrillators at their campuses. Now, Nader told me it could have ruined my life, but I decided to turn it around and try to help people. There's a device right now here on the sidelines. I have it. Texas says they have always had it. A heart defibrillator. Hopefully they never have to use it, but partially because of Matt Nader, all schools from elementary to high school in Texas, they have to have one of these things. And Matt said, you know what? This thing will save lives. I know it will.
Yeah, that's quite a story, I'll tell you.
Amazing. Your parents bringing you back to life. You can imagine.
2nd down and 10 now for the Horns. To the 39-yard line. Eating up some time here. Jamal Charles approaching the 100-yard mark in this game. The rushing difference in this game. Texas able to run the ball for 114 yards, and Arizona State only 7. Of course, there also have been 3 sacks for 31 yards and losses. They take that number 31 off the rushing total in the college game.
Another 3rd down for this Arizona State defense.
And they stop it short of the first down. Troy Nolan making the stop. And Nate Jones could not get it. And Arizona State will get the ball back.
Talking with Craig Bray, getting ready for this game, he told us that anytime we get Colt McCoy to a 3rd down and 6 or 7, we're going to try to walk up our defensive backs to really challenge the receivers from Texas, not give them such a cushion. And that time it paid off by bringing them up. The defense was there to make the play short of the first down.
Fair catch. Runs up, bobbles it. Texas jumps it. The muffed punt is recovered by the Longhorns. A huge break. And that may have been young Melton. A one-time power running back, been converted to a defensive end on special teams here for the Horns. Comes down and recovers the muffed punt.
Mistakes continue to plague this Arizona State team. Williams simply drops the ball on the fair catch, and big Henry Melton comes running downfield, alertly picks the football up. But Arizona State, an unforced error, and their 3rd turnover of the night.
It's his 2nd fumble of the evening. On the muffed, on the punt. And here comes Charles. And the defensive front playing very well. Vasquez in particular. Mark Hort, Smith, Dexter Davis up front now for the Sun Devils.
I think that's been the biggest difference from this Arizona State team this year to what we've seen the last couple years is they have some resiliency, but they have some confidence. We keep talking about how Dennis Erickson has affected this team to get them to 10 wins, but it's the body of work and how they've been able to get there that builds such confidence.
Fake to Charles. Now they slip him out as a receiver. Now Culver's going to scramble. Picks up the first down. Still going inside the 10. 5. Down. Fumble. End zone. Who's got it? Is it a touchdown or is it coming out to the 20? There's a big tug of war, folks.
There's a brawl at the bottom of that pile
right now. This is a critical tug of war. Got to wait for the official signal and not just the Horn players.
Ruling on the play, touchdown.
There it is. Colt McCoy saying somebody up there loves me.
He's showing that his feet can make quite a difference in this game. A great open field tackle that time by Gaithel. Forced the fumble. The ball's in the end zone, and it looks like Nate Jones is right there to land on it for the touchdown.
Nolan had a shot at it. Watch it for the Sun Devils. He just couldn't scoop it up.
Yep.
Gets through him. Ball is free, and Nate Jones is in there.
Yep. And Finley's battling for it.
Yeah, exactly. Finley was in there right in the middle of it with him. Let's show you the different moves. The young man who muffed the punt. But Colt McCoy on the other side.
Capital One Bowl Week. The time of year when day after day, night after night, those that have earned their way come to celebrate the rewards of a season well played. For the rest of us, watch and enjoy. An American holiday tradition.
And 2 more entertaining bowl games tomorrow. The Champ Sports Bowl from down at Atlanta, Boston College and Michigan State. And then the Emerald Bowl, Maryland and Oregon State. Who do you like in those 2 games, Kirk?
Ooh, Michigan State with the suspensions. I think Matt Ryan's the man to beat in that game. And I like Oregon State. I really do. I think they are a talented team with some great skill. I'll take Boston College and Oregon State in those 2 games.
We get word from downstairs. They have given the touchdown to Jermichael Finley, the tight end. He was about the third player in there. He and Jones were wrestling for it. So the official touchdown goes to Finley, the tight end, on that scrum in the end zone, which was so important. It is now 35-13, and the Sun Devils need something good to happen. Burgess, a great return man, looking for a hole, and he's across midfield. So again, excellent field position. Kirk, take us back to the TD.
Well, Arizona State decided to come with a blitz. Their best defensive player comes to the outside, and once Colt McCoy is able to get by him, Arizona State's in man-to-man. And when you're in man-to-man, you can see the defensive backs and linebackers, they're occupied. So once you break contain, and he's got the speed to be able to do that, there's nobody left to make the play. They're fortunate that Gaethal forced a fumble, but unfortunate that Finley's able to pick the ball up and fight for it at the bottom of that pile for a touchdown.
Now can the Devils' offensive line give Rudy enough time? He fumbles it on the turnaround fake. In a foot race now, far side, he'll throw it away. Live to throw another day. 2nd down and 10 coming up. He just simply lost the grip on the football. And lucky that it wasn't another turnover. Been sacked 3 times in this game. Arizona State's turned it over 4 times. That's resulted in 14 points. So things have certainly not gone the Pac-10's way here tonight. Keegan Herring back in as the running back on 2nd down and 10. Out as a receiver, and here he is. Got a first down and then some. 30, 25 to the 21-yard line. So Keegan Herring is tripped up by Marcus Griffin, but it's a 29-yard gain.
Well, with all due respect to Dimitri Nance, there's a different gear on the field when number 24, Keegan Herring, comes into the game. And when he gets downfield in a hurry. And Arizona State desperately needed Herring to come in to give him that charge, that burst into this offense.
We've got a shaken up Keegan Herring, I believe.
Yeah. Had the high ankle sprain against Arizona. Has been beat up. Just has had to carry the load ever since Terrain has been out. He's trying to see if he can go. Hasn't practiced much at all preparing for this game.
So Dimitri Nance will be back in there when we come back. Celebrating 30 years, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Mac Brown and the Horns 4 times in the last 8 years they have been here. And the last time here was a big disappointment. They thought they were headed to the Fiesta Bowl. Kansas State upset Oklahoma. Sooners still went to play for the championship, but K-State got to go to the Fiesta. And a very dejected Texas team lost. Up in the air and incomplete. So it'll be 2nd down, and again pressure being applied on Rudy.
Well, the pressure is being applied, but this is going to be something Rudy Carpenter will work very hard on between this year and getting better even for his senior year. It's making reads, getting back. If your guy's not there, you've got to have a check down, or you've got to be able to throw the football away. Almost another sack because he's holding on to that football too long. It's been a problem throughout this year for him.
2nd and 10. Horns are coming again. Far side incomplete. Michael Jones, the intended receiver. Dion Beasley, a young man who has played well here tonight.
Well, Beasley is a part of this young secondary that gives Dwayne Aquina a lot of confidence moving forward to 2008 and beyond. We mentioned in the last 2 years after Texas won the national championship, 16 players to the NFL, 9 after that championship year, 7 this past year, and a lot of them, 5 have been defensive backs. They're counting on Dion Beasley to be one of those up-and-coming stars in the future in this secondary.
3rd and 10. Heat on him again. Touchdown, Michael Jones. With burnt orange closing in all around, Rudy fires it to the end zone, and Jones makes a whale of a catch.
Well, he's got the coverage that he wants because of a corner blitz off to his right. from the boundary. The corner blitz this time comes. He gets in. He's delayed because of the way Jones went out for his route. Beasley doesn't get there. And in fact, as the pocket collapsed, it allowed Rudy Carpenter to move to his right into where the corner Beasley was coming at him. Puts the ball up in the air. And again, the safety, Eric Jackson, cannot find the football, and it's a touchdown.
So Michael Jones, young man from Sugar Land, Texas, makes a big play against the home state school. And the Sun Devils are still alive here in San Diego. And our aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on triple tread technology. Captain Matthew St. John, we thank you for the terrific pictures from up above as we look down on our crowd here tonight. 64,020 on hand in San Diego.
That's how you get back into a game. You score in less than a minute on 2 plays. 53 seconds. And Arizona State's into the end zone, trying to cut into this lead.
Trailing it by 15 with 2:49 remaining here in the third quarter. And Dennis Erickson and his offensive staff making some adjustments, tinkering a little bit, trying to buy just 2 or 3 more seconds for their quarterback, Rudy Carpenter. And he's a courageous guy. I mean, he was under enormous heat when he fired that ball.
Well, he was. The big play by Keegan Herring on the screen set up eventually that touchdown. He goes out again with the sensitive ankle. Now it comes back to Arizona State's defense. What can they do to slow down Jamal Charles, and can they pressure Colt McCoy? Because it's not just been Colt McCoy throwing, it's been Colt McCoy running to pick up more time to find receivers to throw downfield.
Here's Weber. Tough hop. Picked up by Cosby. Short of the 20-yard line. And Mary Erickson has seen every one of her son's bowl games. She's with Lisa. Let's go to Lisa.
Oh, that's right, Brent. And I have to say that it's very warm up here, and it has to be because this is Mom's box. Mary Erickson. Mrs. Erickson, I got to ask you, you've been to every one of Coach Erickson's bowl games. How come you make it a point to get to all of these special events?
Oh, it's just one of those things none of the family would ever miss. And he's always saw to it that all of us got to go. We went the week before, stayed for all the games, and enjoyed every bit of it. Win, lose, or, you want to win, but actually. And it's just fun.
Now, these other 3 ladies with you, all your daughters, Dennis Erickson's sisters. Ladies, I got to ask you, when you're sitting up here watching the game and it looks like it's getting out of hand and then all of a sudden something changes, what's the atmosphere like up here?
We get a little crazy. Extremely crazy. We just hope that we can pull through and win.
Mom, I got to ask you, what kind of advice do you give your son through the years on how to handle big pressure events like this?
Oh, as football, I never gave any. His dad always took care of that.
All right, so what do you think of the game so far?
I hope we can pull it out. He's done it before. Maybe he can do it again. But just as long as they play good.
All right, and just so you know, let's get a name for everybody.
I'm Nancy.
And?
Julie.
Christy. All right, the Erickson family, happy holidays to you. Thanks for talking to us. Brett.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. And Dennis's father was a longtime high school football coach for about 40 years, I believe, back in the Washington area. Dennis went to Montana State in Bozeman, started his coaching career at Billings Central, a little high school in Billings, Montana. Same school that turned out a pitcher by the name of Dave McNally. Colt McCoy takes off now, and his legs do it again as he crosses midfield. They do not account for him, and he makes them pay.
Well, anytime you're going to get caught in man coverage, you're going to put yourself in a position for Colt McCoy. And I continue to say it, Colt McCoy is not just a guy who's going to sit in the pocket. If you're going to give him a crease into a defense, he's going to be able to pick up big chunks of yardage the way he has done, not just here, but throughout the football game.
That was 25 more yards for him rushing. Texas, 175 yards on the ground. Arizona State, only 7. Here is Charles. A tough 3-yard run for Jamal Charles with Dexter Davis, number 58, hanging on.
And you might say, you know, why is Craig Bray, the defensive coordinator, continuing to take those chances and play man and leave himself vulnerable to Colt McCoy running? It's almost because he has to, because Texas is so strong up front. He has to take some chances to be able to slow down this Texas offense. I don't think they're good enough to just line up and play base defense.
On second down, quarterback draw by McCoy, picks up another first down, crashes to the 22-yard line.
Now it's getting to the point where Colt McCoy is just trying to look for ways to attack this defense. It's a design draw, quarterback draw. And there's some great blocks. Jamal Charles picks up a block on a linebacker, and before you know it, he's into the secondary, picking up more yards. He's trying to chase down Jamal Charles and try to become the leading rusher, even with the sacks.
Somewhere Vince Young is watching, saying, I love those running Longhorn quarterbacks.
Yeah.
First down and 10, snaps one off now on a flanker screen. Only picked up a couple of yards. Nate Jones was the target that time.
And what this does to Arizona State's defense, because they're in hurry-up mode, they're trying to do whatever they can to get the ball back to their offense, is it's demoralizing. Playing defense is about emotion. It's about passion. It's about being excited. And when you give up rushing yards, let alone to the quarterback, it really has a tendency to wear you down and lose your spirit as they head into the fourth quarter.
Well, who does the fourth quarter belong to? We're about to find out, folks. 35-20, a 15-point Texas Longhorn lead. The money quarter for Dennis Erickson and the Sun Devils is coming up from San Diego.
The granddaddy of them all, the way it was meant to be. Pac-10 versus Big Ten. The mighty Trojans of USC. The Fighting Illini of Illinois. From the Tournament of Roses parade to the game's final play, all the tradition, pageantry, and excitement of the Rose Bowl game. Presented by Citi. New Year's Day on ABC.
And we hope all of you will join us for what figures to be a very entertaining Rose Bowl game. USC, one of those teams that you could argue belongs in the championship game in New Orleans, if you will, as they came alive. They got healthy down the stretch. And Illinois, the story of the year in the Big Ten. We will see what the Illini can do, Kirk, against a very favored USC team.
Oh, very favored, and preparing to win another BCS bowl game. Pete Carroll right now kind of setting the standard for college coaches and success, and it'll be interesting to see. Ron Zook has a team that's the underdog. Remember that their rallying call is they went to Ohio State when Ohio State was #1 and beat them in Columbus, so they're probably thinking, hey, why not go out to the Rose Bowl and knock off USC? Juice Williams will have to be spectacular, and their defense will have to play the best game that they've played all year.
Yeah, I would think that they would have to really play better than they did even against Ohio State. Remember, it was the offense that simply ate up the time.
Yes.
Columbus.
Yeah, especially late in that football game. But what a story. You're right. Ron Zook, to think in his third year, after winning 2 ball games last year, he'd get to 9-3 and end up going to the Rose Bowl. One of the great stories this year that we saw in just a crazy year.
Well, there's Rashard Mendenhall, of course. He was the Big Ten's Offensive Player of the Year, one of the better running backs. I got to tell you, Kirk, over in the Hawaii Bowl, I saw a young running back that I had not seen this year at East Carolina, and he was phenomenal. And I'm sure that he will be a first-round draft choice over there. Williams, were you aware of how good he is?
Well, we've seen him play this year, but I think that was his signature game. Chris Johnson, he played very well. Skip Holtz, all of a sudden, you wonder if his name starts to become a hot commodity and a name that's going to be thrown out there as there's still a few more coaching vacancies.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, he was phenomenal. Horns drop it off. Short of the first down is Finley, and of course he has scored a touchdown tonight. Recovered a fumble in the end zone, and now he has caught a pass for the Horns here, who lead at 35-20 on the march early in the fourth quarter.
One last thing about the Rose Bowl. It talks about Juice Williams. If you remember how they beat Ohio State, they threw the football, not for a lot of yards, but for some touchdowns. And it will take that kind of effort throwing the football. You can't just run the zone read against SC's defense.
Now 3rd down and 3. Here comes the blitz. McCoy gets it off for a 1st down. Shipley steps out of bounds.
Well, Nate Jones got away with a little bit of blocking. Really a pick here against the Arizona State secondary. And they're a little bit frustrated with what happened there. Nate Jones is the receiver in front of Shipley. Took 2 Arizona State defenders with him and had his arms up kind of blocking downfield, but it opened it up nicely underneath for Shipley.
McCoy taking off again to the 4-yard line. It has been McCoy's legs on this drive.
Well, it's been his legs a lot tonight. And the main reason you're seeing that is because Arizona State, not only when they blitz, but they're bringing pressure from the outside, and they're not getting much of a push from the middle. And there's a lot of room for him to step up and find different little seams to be able to run into.
Charles stopped at the line of scrimmage. David Smith, the defensive lineman, making the stop. So Charles over 100 yards again. 7th time this year that has exceeded 100 yards. So here comes a 3rd and goal now. McCoy going to try to take off. Could be in trouble this time. Now Texas will settle for a field goal here to make it 18. I'm almost sure. Leading 35-20. Bailey trots out on the field because 18 is a big number.
Makes it a 3-possession game if they're able to hit this field goal. It's a big kick.
Be a 21-yarder. Bailey won 2 games, one this year against Oklahoma State. And then a year ago, we were up in Nebraska where he won the game. Came off the bench, was a backup kicker, and he adds the field goal and puts it on 18. 38-20. Longhorns are up 3 scores.
Ball at the 35-yard line, 11 minutes, 52 seconds left to play. Ishinsky going long, and it is gathered in. And racing on is McConkey for the touchdown. McConkey gathered it in. They went for the bomb and pulled it off. 65-yard touchdown pass from Bob Ishinsky to Phil McConkey.
The voice of Lindsey Nelson as Navy in the 4th quarter pulled it out in the inaugural Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. Phil McConkey, who now lives in La Jolla here, nearby this stadium, he was the MVP back in '78, and this year he was the honorary chairman of tonight's game. And of course, he, along with Lavelle Edwards, were out for the pregame ceremonies. And Phil McConkey was a great player coming out of the United States Naval Academy, and that was such a big win back in '78. So the Horns will kick it off here. Lawrence has the ball on the tee. They're in a comfortable position right now with 12:55 to go. Burgess fields it at the 5, coming up the middle, looking for a crease. And short of the 30-yard line, and now our sharp Aquas HD image of the game. And what else, folks, but the young man who is breathing just a little bit easier right now. The lateral, the free ball. Texas going for the recovery. Touched by Chris Jesse, Mac Brown's stepson, and it gave the Sun Devils another chance from which they scored a touchdown.
And gave him some life.
Changed the game for the time, didn't it? Fake by Carpenter. Going long incomplete. And the coverage for the Horns They were on top of the receivers that time. Brent Miller was the receiver working downfield. You know, you think about Arizona State, Kirk, and some of the quarterbacks. I saw a list in the paper here in San Diego. Andrew Walter, now in the NFL. Max Hall, who transferred up to Brigham Young, and he was the Mountain West Conference all-conference quarterback this year. Sam Keller started at Nebraska. They have Rudy Carpenter, of course. Derek will be Arizona State's football.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, the quarterbacks, we'll find out if they end up landing that way, but they have one more year. Rudy Carpenter, who's just had a difficult night dealing with this speed and with the aggression of Texas. It sure looked like another warning against Texas, sideline warning, but it looks like he got the football, but I don't know if he had his left foot down in time or not. But I'll tell you, my game ball goes to Dwayne Aquino, defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator from Texas. This Texas defense has been a punchline in the Big 12 these last 3 or 4 games, especially in their season finale against A&M, where Stephen McGee lit them up. And they've had to hear about it for over 4 weeks. And everybody wondered how Dwayne Aquino would get this team ready to go up against Rudy Carpenter, the Pac-10, the co-champs from the Pac-10. Well, they've set the tone throughout this entire game.
They break the huddle here on 3rd down. And let's check in with Lisa.
And Brent, turnaround is you know what. The Texas bench is over here shouting, Rudy, Rudy.
They got to him again, and this will be incompletion, I believe. There you can hear the chant.
Just to fill people in on why they're chanting Rudy for the last 6 or 7 days while they've been in San Diego and the teams have gotten together. Number 12, Rudy Carpenter, has made it his, what should I say, his, let's just say he's taken the opportunity to let the Texas players know that he's not impressed with Texas, and he was looking forward to coming out tonight and competing against them, and that he and the Sun Devils had something for him.
Getting away from a bad punt here.
Memo to all the players that are out there still watching this game that are going to be playing in bowl games and traveling to a site. Go to the events, say nice things about your opponent, and smile. Don't say anything to get them excited to want to destroy you the way Rudy Carpenter did to this Texas team.
Feeling the heat in San Diego.
ESPN College Football, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, is brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And GoDaddy.com, world's #1 in .com domains. Make a .com name with us.
Downtown, renovated. The district will probably wind up a little bit later tonight. Why not? 1st down and 10. John Childs, the backup quarterback, checks in. Hands off to Jamar Charles. This could become the battle of the backup quarterbacks here the rest of the way, because across the way, Danny Sullivan has been loosening up for the Sun Devils. Rudy Carpenter has taken a pretty good pounding here, and you can see he's receiving a little attention over there on the sideline. His eardrums are probably ringing over there, if nothing else. 18 of 36, sacked 4 times, and man, he felt the pressure here tonight from this Longhorn defense. 2nd down. Here's Charles again, heading to his 100-yard night. And of course, as soon as we're finished, Sports Center will be coming your way, and some of the stories. We're going to talk about the Buckeyes being perhaps speedier than LSU, and how about Brady versus Montana back in '89, and of course Bill Parcells was introduced as the chief executive of the Miami Dolphins. Heard part of that news conference, and that'll be an interesting story to watch unfold. 3rd down and 4. Giles is going to keep it and sprint for the first down. And talking about Bill Parcells, was interesting when he was coaching the Giants. He was not in charge of player personnel, Kirk, as you probably remember. George Young was the man who made all the decisions, and of course that'll be a big part of his job down in Miami, because they've got to change some of the personnel and toughen up the offensive and defensive line. Just lots of things. Got to get a quarterback.
Wow. I mean, I think he'll take his time. Listening to everything that he has said, he's going to take his time to evaluate not only the coaching staff, but also the players, and then get ready for free agency. And I think he'll do a great job. He needs time, but I think he'll do a great job.
There's the pitch to McGee. Touchdown, Texas. Horns rolling. San Diego, 28 yards. And, you know, Mac Brown might want to think about practicing at 6 o'clock in the morning all the time.
That's the good news is you won the game. The bad news is, guys, we're going to start doing this 6 a.m. stuff more often.
That's right. Might get a little bit tougher down there in Austin. You know, through the years, there have been some opponents that said that the only weakness of Mac Brown's operation was it was soft. Right. You could hear that from time to time.
Yeah.
Are you listening, Norman? You know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of whispered around a little bit. And here tonight, they showed up. They played tough.
He came out, and you could see the look in his eyes, even in the pregame warm-ups, that he meant business and that he got his team focused and prepared. They worked very hard, and it's paying huge dividends tonight.
He even had his stepson going for loose balls.
Right.
I mean,
ready to go.
Everybody was ready if you were a Longhorn here tonight, huh?
ESPN College Football, the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, is brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Hang on, Bevo. Big night for the Longhorns. And tough night for Arizona State. 45-20. Phil Mickelson, one of the alums, here with his family. Giving his daughter there a better look at some of the action. 1992 graduate.
Not a great night for the Pac-10. Been a tough start to the bowl season for UCLA, losing to BYU, and Arizona State as co-champs of the Pac-10, getting bombed tonight by Texas.
Fielded at the 15-yard line by Burgess. And he is ripped down at the 21. Our Pacific Life game summary. And as you might expect, most of the numbers favor the Longhorns here tonight, especially that rushing.
When you jump out 21-0, Arizona State's game plan to run the football to set up the pass goes out the window. And at that point, you just saw Texas continue to turn up the heat. Arizona State tonight's had 4 turnovers, 14 points led to, eventually Texas has been able to come up with 14 points off that.
Danny Sullivan hands it off to Gerald Woods, and Loki makes the stop. So we've had a quarterback change, and Rudy Carpenter's work night is apparently over here with 10:45 to go, and so now we'll take a look at the backup.
Not only am I impressed with 45-20, what I'm even more impressed is look at this bench. I mean, you're talking about a team that's up by 25 points. The backups are in, and everybody's off, and everybody's cheering every snap against Arizona State tonight.
You know, Matt caught, and McGahee slips free for a first down, still going to the 41-yard line. One of the things that Mac Brown has stressed for the last few weeks is how important this game is to next year. Not just to establish a tone for your team, but also the all-important BCS rankings. And the early rankings, of course, of the Associated Press and the coaches poll, they help determine what unfolds a little bit later. And so you win big in your bowl game, as USC showed a year ago when they beat up on Michigan, came out preseason #1. Sullivan turns it loose, caught at the 30-yard line by Michael Jones.
Sullivan's coming out, and he's taking some chances downfield. Ball's underthrown. But he gets hit and hit hard this time by Bobineau, who's coming in on a blitz. No different from when the quarterback Rudy Carpenter's in there. Obviously the ball's underthrown, but a nice job of adjusting back to the ball by Michael Jones, and Palmer couldn't find it. Brent, you make a great point about how it can help you for the next year. The incentive is there tonight for Texas to get ready for tonight to help them for 08.
Slipping free again is Sullivan, and this time finding Nate Kimbrough.
This time Texas, surprise, surprise. They come on a blitz, this time from the nickel. Foster moved from corner to nickel. He's got a clean shot. Sullivan didn't even see him or hear him. He was just standing there. And Foster, who's played a great game tonight, whiffs on an opportunity to knock young Danny Sullivan silly.
Sullivan, Los Gatos, California. Grandfather played basketball at the University of Nevada in Reno, and he is really moving this team. Jones again. Uncle Kevin Sullivan was a pitcher on the San Jose State baseball team. Another uncle, Brian Sullivan, pitched in the Montreal Expos minor league system. And folks, we're looking at a young man with great athletic genes. When you look at the background of the family, he's a golfer himself. Full name is Danny J. Sullivan. He's a sophomore. And in high school, he also punted, and that usually is an indication of a pretty good athlete. So here's number 15 now. He's got some size. Driving the Sun Devils down the field, getting his opportunity, trying to make the most of it. And he's doing just that. Dive for the end zone. Touchdown! Michael Jones. Wow, just like that. Sullivan brought him right down.
He sure did, and he not only did he bring him down, Brent, I thought he showed some pretty good toughness and grit in taking some hits, something that Rudy Carpenter's been facing all night. He comes in there. Look at that Texas defense trying to get their claws on him. He stands in there strong, makes the throw, and his go-to man that drive was Michael Jones.
Yeah, he was 5 of 5, Kirk, for 79 yards and a touchdown, and he got it done. He'd been in 6 games earlier this year. He hasn't thrown an interception yet this season. He is now on the season 17 of 20. That's pretty good.
That's real good.
Where's he been?
Right.
The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl and our aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Triple Tread Technology. And just as soon as this game ends, we'll get you to Bristol for Sports Center. They'll talk about the upcoming BCS championship. How about the New England Patriots? Going for 16-0, and now everybody gets a chance to see the game on Saturday night. And you've got to feel that that's a great decision, especially for the youngsters in this country who didn't have access to the NFL Network. And so it should be a very interesting evening. And during commercials on that New England Patriots game, you all switch on over to the Alamo Bowl. See how Joe Parr and Penn State are making out against Texas A&M. A fair catch at the 40-yard line, and now we will probably take a look at Childs, or is that McCoy, who's got the helmet back on.
The way Mac Brown has
there comes
been calling
Colt.
this game, Colt McCoy is going to finish this game, regardless of what this score is. But we were talking at the meeting this morning about accomplishments, what Texas has been able to do with Mac Brown as a head coach. And we'll talk about it more after this play. But this is a very significant win for Mac and for this program.
Here comes Charles. I want to talk about Jamal Charles at the next level as he steps out of bounds for a first down. And Kirk, the question is, he has said publicly, and he has told Lisa personally, that he's coming back next year. Now, you and I know that you've always got to wait when someone's got talent and they're finishing up their junior eligibility, that people are going to approach him. They have asked the NFL apparently, and he wants to be a first-round draft choice, and he's got no confirmation that he would be a first-round draft choice, which kind of surprises me, to tell you the truth.
Well, he has all the tools to be a first-round back. I personally think most of Texas players come back. I mean, Vince Young is the only one to leave. Most players come back, and opt to come back for that senior year. He's had a solid night tonight. I mean, he's been able to get out once, and it was right there when Childs came in to run the option attack. But this second half of this season, he's been the workhorse for Texas. That's the one area I still think he can get a little bit better, is just getting stronger. He gets a little bit stronger, a little bit more physical. I think he becomes a complete back and more of a first-round type of back. But we'll see. We'll see what the papers say and what he ultimately decides.
Here's McGee, his substitute. Stopped at the 50-yard line by Gerald Munn.
Just talking about Mack Brown and what he's accomplished by winning tonight. This is his 10th win of the season for himself and for this Texas team. That is the 7th season in a row that Mack Brown and Texas have been able to get to double-digit wins. I always talk about Bobby Bowden going 14 straight. I marvel at that, the way you would look at Joe DiMaggio in today's game, trying to get to 56 straight with a hit. 7 straight is halfway to where Bobby Bowden got. But today's day and age with 85 scholarships, amazing accomplishment for Texas and Mack Brown.
Picks up the first down, finds Jordan Shipley again. Shipley's been active here tonight. You know, we have talked about the Arizona State quarterbacks on the other sideline, and it's Dennis Erickson running the team. He replaced Dirk Cutter. Now, some of you may not know where Dirk is, but he's the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and there are a lot of people who say that is his true calling, that when a man can put together game plans and can do just simply X's and O's as well as Dirk, he belongs at that level. And folks, the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they were in the NFC, they might be favored to win that conference. The AFC just a little bit tougher.
I love Jacksonville. What they did to Pittsburgh a few weeks ago on the road in the snow.
They look good, don't they?
I like that team.
And there's Dirk Cutter, who recruited some of this talent that Dennis Erickson has molded and elevated to the top of the Pac-10. Dirk deserves some credit for the talent that he left behind, and Dennis will be the first to tell you that. And Dennis, of course, a man who won 2 national championships with Miami, has been a winner everywhere he's gone, and I'm sure he's disappointed tonight in the performance of the team, but it ran into a buzzsaw.
He did. He ran into a determined team. It's a great opportunity. I know they're disappointed tonight, 10-2. They'll finish the year 10-3. Just really scratching the surface of where he'll potentially take this team after this year.
There's a toss play now with Jamal Charles, trying to stay in bounds. He didn't. Let's take a look at the itinerary. Here he is now. You know, you might say, hey, he's the Larry Brown of football. I mean, look at the moves, but interesting ones. Coached at Idaho a couple of times. I know that the people up in Vandal country were upset when he took the Arizona State job prior to the season, but you know, you're in a mid-major and you get an opportunity to step into the Pac-10, a program like Arizona State, you just got to take it. And he did, and he's made the most of it. He's a very, very good coach. He actually is one of the first coaches to spread the field and throw the football. They talk about Rich Rodriguez, and certainly he's had a running quarterback as Colt McCoy throws another pass into the hands of Jermichael Finley, is tight end that time. He caught a couple of balls and scored a touchdown on recovered fumble in the end zone. But when you go back to the days of Jack Elway, John's father, whom Dennis worked for, that's when the game started to open up a little bit. And the one-back sets came in. And Joe Tiller was part of that coaching fraternity that came along. And now, as you look across the college landscape, I mean, everybody's spreading in the field, going wide open. And, of course, a little bit of a different wrinkle is the running quarterback.
Yes. Yeah, the option look, which Texas has gone to a few times tonight with Childs, the backup quarterback. When Mack Brown has that look in his eyes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's game on. He's ready to go tonight.
He's got he's got an interesting non-conference game next September, and that is Arkansas. Of course, those two used to be great rivals in the old Southwest days before Arkansas went on over to the SEC. But they're going to meet again next year, and They make a pretty entertaining Saturday night.
It should. for Dave Brown and company. They should view that one.
Let's take a look at the Texas schedule right now. We can show you there. Hey, Howard Schnellenberger is coming in. Congratulations to Howard and the Owls winning a bowl game. What a wonderful story that is. But you can see Arkansas is coming. I think it's a home and home. I think the next year they'll go on over Arkansas way. And of course in Dallas, the big one against Oklahoma.
As young as they are, and from winning this game, going back to what you touched on, the value of winning your bowl game and creating that momentum into the offseason, having a higher preseason ranking, they're going to be capable of winning a lot of games again next year, obviously. And it could come down, as it always does, what happens in Dallas in October. And if you can get by that one, if you're Oklahoma or Texas, because Oklahoma is going to be a great team too. If you get by that game, then you've got a great shot to possibly run the table. Every year it's between those two teams.
What a nice play by trying defensively. You know, Kirk, but how about in the Big 12 when you say, hey, our schedule gets tougher. We pick up Kansas and Missouri and we lose Nebraska.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd be able to say something like that in the Big 12?
No,
I did.
No. And Bo Pelini is going to try to change that around. It may take him a few years.
Sullivan's still in at quarterback. Remember, he marched him right down the field. First down and 10 now. Takes the deep drop. Steps away from the pressure and incomplete. And the season itself, when you go back and the upsets that we've had, Appalachian State, Stanford, and Pittsburgh, I could argue those are the three biggest of the year.
Yeah, and then you look at number 1 and number 2. For a while, going back to October, it didn't look like anybody wanted to end up in the championship game. And then LSU with so many close calls and winning the games that they had to win and winning the toughest conference in the SEC eventually got them into the national championship game.
Ball is juggled, and it looks like he got it. He pulled it in. Michael Jones has scored the touchdown, and now the umpire's coming over. And
we're going to have a discussion.
Think what it, you know, in those discussions, the umpire is just going to say, and as long as they keep on reviewing the play upstairs, it can be turned around or confirmed. Take a look at this and let's see. Just got it.
No.
Not got it.
Eagle eye. The umpire's got the eagle eye.
He did. He saw the point of the ball come down and said, I don't think so. And they're probably re-racking the video. And
so what do you think of Mark Pryor signing with the Padres? How about that?
Know,
has he pitched since Bartman caught that ball down the left field line?
Only a few innings, you know.
Head coach is challenging the last play.
All righty.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Come on, boys, real quick.
Quick.
Turn that around.
Have Mom call down and tell Dennis not to challenge it, okay?
We're going to go arena. We're going to go arena rules here in a second. 5:04. Keep that clock at cranking. We've seen this before.
This is pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, this is pretty much a no-brainer. This should take all of 8 seconds on this view alone. This is all it takes. That green stuff is the grass, and that is an incompletion. Real quick.
Chris Jesse on the other sideline would say, you can see that a lot clearer than you can see whether or not my thumb touched the football. We've got 5:04. Well, it's only 9 o'clock out here. Yeah, we're okay out here, partner. And then we'll head on up the road. Looking forward to watch Illinois practice tomorrow. Talk to some of the coaches. Then, of course, over the weekend, we'll see Pete Carroll and USC and the granddaddy, the Rose Bowl, my friend.
Looking forward to that one.
That'll be fun. Always is. It's always just they do such a great job. And they confirmed down the field that it was an incomplete forward pass. You know, the one thing we should make about this particular bowl and all the bowls, all of the volunteers and all the work here, I think they're called the Red Coats, the guys who do this. And through the years, they have made it special. They take care of the players and keep them busy in a great city like San Diego. You know, go to the aquarium and go on out to the wonderful zoo and get to play in the stadium. And the Texas team, they bought tickets for the Chargers Denver Bronco game. And they came here as a group and were able to watch Monday Night Football. And many of the players certainly enjoyed that.
Anytime you can come to a bowl game, that's all part of the the charm of the bowl season. Absolutely. As the players get a chance to actually enjoy themselves and indulge in a city where from August all the way into the end of the season, it's just a grind. One day after another, you're trying to get ready to win games.
It is so easy to put the bowl system down, but then, folks, you see the emotion and the joy and teams like Florida Atlantic.
How about East Carolina?
East
Purdue
Carolina.
and the celebrations they've had the last few nights.
It's wonderful. Sullivan battling for the first down over there. That was a great play by Michael. Jones got the first down on a 4th down pass with 4:54, and Sullivan getting a chance to finish the game here has been impressive.
Sure has. He's coming out making some gutsy throws, and he continues to throw the football to the junior Michael Jones. How about the effort that time to carry Deion Beasley across the first down line?
Arizona State has passed for 277 yards here tonight. Here comes the blitz. Can't get there. Got one-on-one deep. And penalty is called. That's interference. They were holding against McGahee. Deion Beasley, number 7, was the defender there.
Pass interference against number 7 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I got to tell you, Brad, I mean, if you're an Arizona State fan, you love the call. If you're a Texas fan, you're thinking he touched late, and the ball is thrown by, and he definitely touches him, but the ball is thrown by 4 or 5 yards over his head. But he definitely got his left hand up on the wrist of the receiver, but the ball was well overthrown.
And if you're a SportsCenter fan, you're saying run the clock. 4.5 minutes to go here.
Somehow we've gotten 30 seconds off that clock. We were just at 5:04.
Here's Sullivan now for the gun. Receiver didn't see it. Kimbrough didn't see it in time. And of course, we mentioned that SportsCenter's coming up right after this game. They're going to be talking, I'm sure, about the Ohio State LSU game. They've got a big look at the speed. And trust me, both those teams will be able to run fast enough. That will not decide that game. Okay?
Ohio State's 0-8 in bowl games against the SEC.
And that is an important number.
Yeah.
That is an impressive number. Didn't John Cooper lose back-to-back games to South Carolina? Do you remember that?
He lost one, and I think Jim Tressel lost one.
Oh, did he? His first year?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, but I remember that South Carolina.
In 2001, first year.
Yeah. And
Big Ten.
It'll be interesting.
Of all the teams, we were talking about this in our meeting this morning, of all the teams and all the conferences, I think the Big Ten obviously has faced the most scrutiny this year for obvious reasons. The way Michigan and Ohio State performed in the bowl games last year, the way Michigan played against Appalachian State and Oregon. The conference, I've never seen it as scrutinized as it's been this year. And what they do in the bowl season collectively with their 8 teams is going to be watched very closely. Purdue won last night against a MAC team in Central Michigan. It'll be interesting to see what Illinois does, what Ohio State does, and down the line in that conference.
3rd down, middle wide open. Thompson still going. Down at the 12-yard line. Thompson has given Sullivan a 1st and 10. Jackson finally able to bring him down with 4:10 to go.
I want people to keep in mind, Danny Sullivan coming into tonight's game, he attempted 15 passes on the year. He was 12 of 15. And tonight, he's already thrown 12 passes just in this quarter alone. And I'm with you. This guy looks pretty good tonight.
Yes, he does.
Puts the ball in a place where his receiver can make a play every time.
A big fella on the toss to Nance. Nance out of bounds at around the 5-yard line. There's some of the other stories. They're going to compare a couple of great quarterbacks. And, of course, Bill Parcells, now the leader of the Dolphins. And so all of the other late-breaking stories will be covered.
You don't think the Giants have a chance, do you?
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
2nd down and goal.
He's there.
Touchdown. Pounding across, Gerald Woods, the sophomore from Northville, Michigan. One who got away from the Wolverines. Wanted a little more warm weather. 45-33 with 3:42 to go, and stay tuned right after the extra point for the onside kick.
And your analysis of the Giants upset of the Patriots.
I didn't say they'd upset.
Oh, you want
Just hang on. I'm going to tell you why I think it's going to be a heck of a game.
All right.
There's a couple things you need. You need a good defense. And you need a good-spirited crowd. I know some of the Giant fans have been selling their tickets, but not all of them. Trust me on that. Eli Manning, he's got enough smarts, but the most important thing is that coaching staff. Tom Coughlin once won one of the biggest college upsets we've ever seen when he went into South Bend and beat Lou Holtz a week after that Florida State. Let me tell you something about Tom Coughlin. I know he gets criticized for attitude and everything. Man can flat-out coach.
Yep.
They're going to show up. In a way, this could be the Giants' Super Bowl. If they stop this winning streak, they get knocked out in the playoffs by whomever.
Tampa.
Whenever, yeah, something like that. They can look back on what they did to end this streak. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. I really do. I think the Giants are going to show up. You know, with athletes, yeah, they get a lot of money and all of that stuff. There's a lot of pride out there for guys. You know,
there's a little bit of pride on the Patriots team too, right?
Yeah, and remember when the Ravens took them to the wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because for the Patriots, they've got to win the whole thing. They don't have to go undefeated, but they've got to win this whole thing.
Yes.
It will be an unsuccessful season if they do not win the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
If they win the regular season.
So what does that have to do with the Giants game?
It's going to be a heck of a game.
Put my money on the Patriots and Tom Brady.
Oh, play the chalk, huh?
No, I'm just telling you. And, and the Patriots, the only team that can stop the Patriots, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anybody else, they're going to the Super Bowl.
I don't believe that.
Who else? Colts?
San Diego is playing better than they've played all year.
What about the Colts?
Colts are okay. The Colts are okay.
Are they healthy?
They got it back.
Hey, look at this.
Look at this.
They get it?
No, I don't think so.
Your man here.
My spotter is saying no way. Here comes Colt McCoy.
Emphatically.
He agrees with the Mauve Man. Okay.
Well, let's see what happened here. Attaboy. Griffin went up, it looked like. Made a nice play.
Yanked it away.
Foster.
Yanked it away after he was down, right? Let's see. Knee hit the ground.
All right, let's keep the clock moving. All right, he's down. He's down. Good call. Just keep it moving. 3.5. Here we go.
How many reports do we have to do afterwards?
This is our report. We've covered everything.
Okay.
We've covered the Padres signing Mark Pryor. Any other hot stove talk for us? Do you have any other signings? You've got a Big Ten basketball game coming up. You want to break? You want to give me a preview of that one?
That's Ohio State and Illinois. He's had a big night here. Kirk, let's see what the numbers are. 129 yards and that one touchdown. He certainly was a unanimous choice for the all Big 12 team.
I've been really impressed tonight with Colt McCoy. The yards aren't huge, but he's 21 of 31 throwing the football. And he's close to 100 yards rushing himself at 84 yards. He's been very solid tonight with his leadership and decision-making. Look out.
Charles, look out, end zone. Here I come, baby. Touchdown, Texas. The gifted one streaks in.
Boy, is he pretty in the open field. He's one of the backs that when he finds a crease, you're just not going to catch him. I don't care who you are, even the SEC. As fast as the SEC is, even their guys couldn't catch Jamal Charles.
Oh, there might be one or two, Ken. How about that little guy down at LSU?
Oh, Oh, boy. Holiday
catching.
Oh, he can catch anybody. He doesn't count.
Great work, Nate Jones.
Although this kid ran a 10-1.
Yeah, that's pretty good now.
That's pretty good.
Moving now. You know who the happiest person on that sideline is right now? Mac Brown's stepson, Chris Jesse. Chris, look at that. He's got a smile back on his face. He's watching the action.
I don't think he's moved from the spot.
No, he just in case you weren't with us, in the first half, Texas was dominating the game. There was a free ball on a lateral, and Texas was going to cover it, and the young man reached down to touch the ball, and instant replay ruled that he made contact. Arizona State retained possession at the 7, touchdown pass on the next play, and Arizona State was back in the game. Colt McCoy, big night. Next year he'll be a junior. Bailey adds the extra point, and 52-34. Here it is right there. Yeah.
Tell everybody, get back. Whoa. Cleve Bryant's 6-7 feet onto the field.
They only had 15 guys on the field.
He happened to be the lucky one to touch the ball. You made a great point. We were talking about it. He goes from being a guy that was going to be the most ridiculed in the state of Texas if Arizona State came back to win after Texas was up 21-0 to now he's a hero. Now he'll go around. They'll want him as appearances. He'll be able to make it.
Giving speeches. You always have something, don't you, at the Pac Life Holiday Bowl, I tell you. Through the years, when you think of the crazy games and the crazy things that have happened here. And tonight, what do we got? We got 86 points scored between Texas and Arizona State. Just what a lot of folks figured, a very high-scoring game. 2:24, ball is on the tee, and of course, we'll head on up the coast, and we'll see what Illinois and USC can do. A year ago, you might remember in that Rose Bowl, Michigan and USC were tied at 3 at the half, and then USC just pulled away. And the Trojans, certainly one of the elite teams this country, as Oklahoma, I would say, too, have very impressed watching them win the Big 12 championship. Virginia Tech, although the time we saw them in person, they were beaten soundly by LSU. So along the ground, fielded by one of the up men at the 30. And so the granddaddy, presented by Citi, 6th straight Pac-10 title, 4-1 of the BC Bowls under Pete Carroll, BCS Bowls, and that's at 4:30 Eastern next Tuesday on ABC. You know, one of the things we should point out about this Arizona State team is that 19 players have graduated already. 8 of them throughout the season, and 11 Arizona State players graduated this week. And of course, Arizona State was co-champion with USC, but they lost the tiebreaker, which was head-to-head. Sullivan going deep to Kimbrough. Incomplete. This young man's got an arm.
He does. And he keeps showing it to us. He just keeps showing that arm.
I like a tough Irishman.
He is, huh?
How did he get away from Notre Dame?
I have no idea. You read his background.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Great accomplishments. Trying to give Rudy a little bit of run for his money, maybe going into spring ball.
Like to give him a little competition, huh? Yeah. 2nd and 10. Runs the draw play to Daylight. Woods to the 35-yard line. Rudy Carpenter, 18 of 36, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 tough interceptions, both deflected, and he was sacked 4 times and serenaded by the Longhorns as he left the field. Sullivan takes a deep drop. There's a penalty flag here. You get guys
2 or
all over
3
the
men
place.
downfield.
He was setting a screen, and I think.
Yeah. 3 illegal men downfield.
Yep.
Pass interference. Number 5 on the offense. Penalty be 15 yards. Down remains 1.
I wonder if Texas could choose a 25-second penalty instead of 15-yard penalty. Just take some of that clock off. Good news is, usually when we do games in here, it's a tough escape. Tonight, it's just us in the booth and the guys working the cameras, boys in the truck, girls in the truck.
Sure, we'll take the trolley back downtown. Here's Sullivan. Deflected, intercepted. That's the 3rd deflected interception of the night. This one picked off by Brandon Foster. He had intercepted 3 passes coming into this game, 2 of them for touchdowns. So his 4th pick.
How fitting for Texas's defense to come up with a play and another turnover. As I said, a theme tonight for Texas has been the way this defense has played. We've been having some fun here in the 4th quarter, but the reality is the way they came out to play after the way they were ridiculed those last 3 or 4 games, they really made a statement with their performance tonight and the way they came after Arizona State. And as I said, only fitting that Foster come up with an interception here, the 5th turnover tonight of Arizona State's.
So quarterback Childs will finish up the game, keeping the clock running. And the Capital One Bowl week continues. 2 coming up. Boston College against Michigan State. That'll be the lid lifter, and then that'll be followed by Maryland, Oregon State. Both games tomorrow. The Champ Sports Bowl and the Emerald Bowl coming your way as the action continues, and we're off and rolling now. The big boys are stepping up.
Suspensions will hurt Michigan State there. Boston College trying to send off Matt Ryan with a victory, kind of like the Eagles there, and we'll see if Maryland has what it takes to compete with Oregon State. I think the Beavers are a more talented team.
McGee, the running back. And of course, right after we wrap this up, Sports Center will be coming your way. Already the talk has started regarding LSU and the Buckeyes of Ohio State in the championship game. The circus gets ready to pack up and head on down the road.
Pack them up.
Time to move on, partner. McGee. And that should do it. Colt McCoy and the Texas Longhorns. They finish this year on a powerful note, and they start next season on a powerful note. 2 good friends, Mac Brown, Dennis Erickson. Let's go down to Lisa with Colt McCoy.
Well, Colt, it seemed like this game would never end. At what point did you really feel comfortable that you guys were actually going to win it?
Those guys fight. We knew that coming in. They're not going to give up. And it was till the end. I was telling Jamal, stay on the ground. Let's go. But, you know, it's been awesome. My teammates and everybody to come back like this and get a victory in the bowl game is pretty sweet.
Now, you should feel pretty fortunate. That big run and then the fumble at the goal line. What went through your mind when the ball actually left your arms?
I was pretty ticked off. But, you know, my teammates had me. Jermichael fell in the end zone. It kind of felt like things were going our way tonight. And we were fortunate for that.
And lastly, Chris Jesse, can you really kind of yell at the coach's stepson for touching that ball? What do you say to the kid?
Bad luck. It's all right. We don't blame him. We're lucky we came out with a win. And I give all the credit to my teammates and coaches. They played great tonight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cole. Congratulations.
All right, Lisa, thank you. And again, folks, our final score, 52-34. Texas wins it. So we'll see you January 1st at 4:30 Eastern for the Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. It was a big night for Mack Brown and the Longhorns as Texas wins its bowl game big over Arizona State of the Pac-10. And a reminder, coming up next is Sports Center. One of the big stories, Ohio State against LSU. So long, everybody.